Craig.
Oh, we're just going live. Hold on.
We're living on a disk, floating through space, with a tiny sun.
Hey, I'm FTFE. Welcome back to the channel that pushes stupidity out of an airlock into the vacuum of space. I'd love to do that to stupidity. That'd be great. It's Monday night, so that means debates, as the flat earther has finally turned up. They don't do time the rest of us normal people. You know, I guess it works differently on a flat magic pancake world. With me, as always, is my partner in crime, the man that can only interact with light if he turns sideways. Team Skeptic, how you doing, bud?
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Nice to have you here, as always. I had fun earlier talking to Brainy. If you guys haven't been watching our SOS streams, then go and check out our Science or Satire channel, where we've been doing Monday, Wednesday, and Friday regular little 1 hour podcasts. So go and check that out if you want to see them, and it'll be going on podcast services soon. So Gary Webenenga is in the chat. Just activate Vicky mode for him if you guys don't mind. That'd be wonderful. And we're just going to get straight in with it, because we've got Rad Vlad with us tonight. The man, the legend, the guy who doesn't think that laser is working properly. Rad, how you doing?
Good. Good to be here with you guys.
All right, nice to you to join. So you say you've got some new evidence.
Yeah. All right. I'll throw this one. Yeah, okay. I'll throw this one at you. LIGO in Pasadena. LIGO, right?
Yeah.
Can you pull up a picture of it, like the end of it? It'd be nice if your viewers could see what I'm talking about.
Hold on, I'll get it. Which?
The one that shows how the ground.
Oh, which one do you mean? The Livingston or the Hanford one?
There's one in Pasadena, California, and the picture I'm interested in, it shows the end of the tube that's supposedly held up by 1 meter of concrete because of Earth's curvature.
Oh, right, okay. I think I know which photo you mean. Just give me a sec. Right, well, when I find it, everyone knows what the LIGO is, the humongous interferometers that allow us to measure gravitational waves. What is your issue with it?
Okay, well, it's 2 miles. It's a 2 mile long tube, and
2 kilometers, I think.
Is it 2 kilometers or 2 miles?
I'm pretty sure it's 2 kilometers. If I'm wrong, either way.
Yeah, let me turn off this fan. Hold on, because we're going to hear each other better.
Turn your phone sideways. Turn your phone sideways.
You want me to turn my phone sideways?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Hold on, let me ask you something. No. Let me ask you something. Are you some kind of fucking caveman? That's not how shit works, Vlad. Turn auto rotate on your phone. Turn auto rotate on your phone, so when you turn it sideways, it makes you long ways instead of tall ways.
Or I can adjust it for you if you want.
What?
I can adjust it for you. Just might stretch you out a bit.
I mean, we have to have some civility there, Rad Vlad. We have to have some civility, and civility starts with not filming in portrait mode, filming in landscape mode.
Civility is for a girly man like you.
No, that's wrong.
I'm a savage over here, man. We don't play around with that kind of stuff.
There we go. That's better. Right. So I can't find the picture of the 1 meter bit that you're on about, but yeah, the LIGO is evidence of the Earth curving because the things have to be straight, yet at one end it's further away from the ground than at the beginning.
Right. So what I'm going to put forward is that, okay, you guys claim that they had to build a 1 meter mound of dirt or concrete in order to hold that tube.
They had to precision pour concrete.
Right. But what I'm going to say then is that would mean that relative to Earth's center, that tube is beginning to go uphill.
Correct.
So what I'm
well,
gonna
not
say,
uphill, that's
okay,
not really the right term. But it would be forming a tangent to the sphere, yes.
Yeah, it's angling upward.
Yeah, it would be going towards the sky.
Right.
Yeah, so what's the issue?
So the issue, so then that would mean if you put like a marble, a little marble that the kids play with, that it would have to roll down.
So, yes, if you were to fill it with water would be like more at one end than the other because it's not level, it's straight.
Well, that's okay. That's fine.
This is Earth, and then you've got one LIGO arm there, and I suppose from the other perspective it would be going like that. This is obviously exaggerated,
right?
And then you've got this bit here that would be where the concrete was poured to keep it straight.
Right. And okay, so about that concrete, I'll just say that Earth, it has hills and valleys, and if that tube went further, you might have to drill through some land. Some land you're gonna have to fill in because it sinks a little bit lower. It's not because of the curvature necessarily. It could be the hills and valleys.
See, the issue with that argumentation is that right next to one of the main LIGO installations, they've got a river running alongside it, and as we know, water finds its own level, which means that it shows that it is running alongside level water. So the ground is going to be, level. It's not. It's going to be following the curve of the Earth. It's the Livingston installation runs alongside a river.
Okay, so where the tube begins, is it the same distance height above that water than it is at the end of the tube?
No, at the end of it is 1 meter further above the ground than where it starts.
But what about above the water? Above the water.
Yeah, but above the water as well, above the water level. So the water would be falling away from it, or it would be rising up above the water.
Right. It should. If Earth is a globe, it should be falling away from it.
Yes,
right.
Exactly, and that's what happens.
Right. Well, we don't know. We don't know that. You're saying that happens, but
it does, and you can go and actually they do tours and stuff. Well, probably not at the moment with COVID, but you can go and check it all out for yourself. And these are just facts about the way that it was built. They had to take into account the Earth's curvature. It took years.
Well,
I think it took 11 years to calibrate it properly because they had to make sure that it was so straight, and straight does not mean level.
Okay, but you can't say it's a fact that it's higher above the water level at the end of the tube than it is at the beginning because you haven't measured it. I haven't measured it. What's the measure? Can you tell me the numbers?
Yeah, about a meter of precision concrete they had to pour. That's the number.
Okay. No, Craig, I'm asking you where the tube begins. Here's the tube. Where it begins, there's the water running next to it. So let's say the tube is 15 feet higher than the water level.
No,
so
it's
at
not
the end of the tube.
Oh right, I see what you mean. So, no, it's literally running alongside, straight on the ground next to it.
Well, if it's straight, then that would mean Earth is flat.
Well, if the Earth's flat, why does it rise away from the ground?
Well, because you can't trust the ground. The ground goes up and down, but the water.
So you're saying water isn't level then?
No, it is. It is level. Okay, listen, Craig. What I'm saying, if the way, one way to test would be if the beginning of the tube is lower, not as high above the water level.
Oh no, someone's calling him.
Unbelievable,
man. Team, how do I explain this to him?
Well, you explain it to him that once you start using landscape mode instead of portrait mode, you will become cooler and people will start calling you IRL. He probably hadn't had a phone call from a he probably hadn't had a phone call from a real life human being that wasn't like a robot that he paid in advance to call and act like they cared about him, like they liked him. Like, could you imagine his life? Like, he's got a 3 o'clock daily call, and it's literally like a Google assistant with you know, like some kind of message of success. But like, don't worry, Earth may not be flat, but people do like you.
I mean, someone's got to like him,
his
right?
daily. Yeah, he's just getting his daily fucking confidence call right now.
Like, let me just read a couple of super chats while we're waiting for him to come back. So we had, before we started, Otkachi for $5. Is it possible to have an addiction to dumpster fires? Yes, and I am enabling that addiction. Collapsis for $5 says, just in case the idiot fails to appear, here's some money. Got to keep this business model solvent. Thank you very much. Bella Charge for $2 New Zealand says, what up, pork chop? Let the dumpster fire begin. I hope you brought marshmallows. Joey Fletcher for $4.99. Have a great day in the stream as always. Good luck. Luck's not needed. I have objective reality on my side. And Team Skeptic. Schrodinger's Cat for $1.99 says, hello, my friends. Hello, Schrodinger's Cat. You're going to beat me to 50k at the rate you're going. J.L. Warren for $1.99 says, look at him with his little marker. I know, like he's trying to take notes. RangerMan9404 for $2 says, Vlad, flip your phone for fuck's sake. God's Auditor for $5.
Little does he know that markers can't work without gravity. They need gravity as well as another thing that does not work. Markers are one of the things. Two things have to occur for markers to work properly. Gravity has to be real, and the Earth has to be a globe and rotating. So just by that assertion alone, that proves that the Earth must be rotating and a globe. Because I did watch him draw with his marker. I actually, when nobody was looking, I think I saw him stick it in his mouth and eat it a few times.
Maybe it's one of those nice smelling markers.
Yeah, lead-based from the 30s. Yeah, so, you know, checkmate, flat earthers. Rad Vlad just proved that the Earth is curved and fucking gravity's real. Just
you don't need Glovers to prove it, because flat earthers do it for us all the time.
Swipe of the marker.
Yeah. Then we got God's Auditor for $5. I got 10-1 odds Vlad's never witnessed a female orgasm. Place your bets. I'll take it. Rodent, no last name for $5. If you have a triangle of sides 1, 1, and 1, what are the interior angles in metric inches? About 3/3 of a cheeseburger. I know 3/3 is 1. But anyway, Bella Charge for $5 New Zealand. Rad, one of these runs besides a river. Exactly. J.L. Warren for $4.99. I'd ask the over-under God's Auditor, but we both know he's never been either. Okay. And Joey Fletcher for $1.99. The luck was for the chronic dumbass. LMO. Thank you. Right, let's see if Vlad's coming back. That does involve thinking. Oh, here he comes.
Hey.
Yay, there you are.
Yeah, sorry about that. My wife called me.
I told you, Vlad, the moment you start using fucking landscape instead of portrait, like your status in society instantly goes up because people realize that you're not a complete fucking dumbass. Like, only dumbasses film only in portrait, okay? So please don't do that again.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you're instantly smarter when you don't have it in portrait. It's a fact.
I want to be on the smart side. It's good to be with the smart guys.
Well, the Earth's not flat. You can start there. I'm just queuing up a video to show you from a channel called Minute Physics, I think it is. Right, let me stop her there.
Well, you guys are running. I didn't finish. I haven't finished scourging you with LIGO yet. I don't want to run to another.
Well, this is an answer to that question. This is physics, girl.
They have to correct for the curvature of Earth.
Over 4 kilometers, the Earth drops about 1.5 meters.
The detector is so sensitive, it's affected by quantum fluctuations, which is essentially randomness caused by quantum mechanics in the mirrors. Some of the problems that arise from noise are solved by having an identical detector nearly 2,000 miles away doing the exact same thing. There's another LIGO in Livingston, Louisiana.
See the water
and when a
there running
gravitational
alongside
wave
it?
passes through both detectors, the signals line up perfectly. And one more thing, both detectors have 4-kilometer long arms, but they're actually effectively 1,200 kilometers.
And the light bounces back and forth on average about 300 times. So that makes the arm length not just 4 kilometers, but effectively 1,200 kilometers.
So there you go. That it has to take that into account because of the precision that they need. So they literally had to take the curve of the Earth into account. It's like it showed there, one of the installations is right next to a river, showing the, what is level, because the water is going to be level. We've been told that by flat earthers a million times. So yeah, the water's level, and the LIGO installation at the end of the 4-kilometer arm is about 1 meter higher above the water than when it started. Ergo, the Earth is not flat.
No, which one is it, Craig? Is it 1 meter above the water, or is it 1 meter above the ground?
Well, it's both. It's right next to it, as it showed. Let me get.
It can't be both, because the ground waves up and down along that river. Some parts are lower.
The ground is like flat. Sorry, level right next to it. Look, you see this. You see the dark bit. That's the river running alongside it, and that goes the entire way.
That's a shadow. Prove me wrong.
I only see the beginning of the installation there. It's a big deal. But they're saying the tube is 4 kilometers long, right?
4 kilometers, yeah.
What is that? Is that 2 miles? That's about 2 miles.
About 2.5 miles, I think. 2 3/4 miles, maybe.
Okay. Well, then if it is higher than the water, if it is higher at the end of the tube, higher above the water than it is at the beginning of the tube, then, and I wish we weren't having this crazy COVID thing going on, because I wanted really to go to do a tour of LIGO and then have a chance to roll a marble on it, but they probably wouldn't have let me touch that thing.
Yeah, they're probably not going to let you inside the super amazing, high-tech, extremely expensive thing that took 11 years to calibrate, so sensitive it's affected by quantum fluctuations in a mirror. They're probably not going to let you roll a marble inside it, no. However,
Vlad, for the same reason, Vlad, but don't feel bad. The other day, I was at this this brain surgery event, and I asked the doctor, "Would you mind if I just poked my finger in there a little bit?" And they wouldn't let me do it either. You know what I mean?
I tried to make that
fucking
in
asshole.
surgery. Yeah.
He was mean. What a jerk.
But right, Vlad, the thing is, right? If you're bringing up LIGO, it blows away your entire point, because LIGO is an excellent evidence and a mathematical proof of the heliocentric model. It backs up what we say. That's LIGO's entire purpose, is to measure gravitational waves based around Einstein's calculations. If you're quoting LIGO in any sense, you're agreeing that the Earth is not flat.
Well, it's fine and dandy, that story they give us about LIGO. I don't know what the heck they're doing over there.
Measuring gravitational waves.
Doing. Well, that's what they say. Who knows what they're doing? All I know, what I do know.
Oh no, Teamy's busted us. He knows it's the satanic portal experiments.
It could be.
God damn it! I might have to watch my porn somewhere else instead of the nether region.
What I do know, though, is that I haven't had a chance to measure it myself, and I could. It's so close to me. But I know you think they'd let me climb on top of like a monkey and jump around, like count like? They wouldn't let me.
I would pay to see it. Flat Earther tries to prove LIGO isn't real by jumping on it like a monkey. That's a clickbait title right there.
I hit it with my club a couple times, down my chest, but you know.
So what is your point about LIGO, Vlad? Because you kind of just said, like, LIGO...
Right. My point. All right, here's my point. Whatever they're doing with it is fine and dandy. If they're doing what you guys say, it still doesn't prove the shape of the Earth, because
it really does, because thing is, there's not just these 2 LIGO installations in America. I think there's about 7 similar LIGO installations around the world, and they can all detect these gravitational waves, right? Now, but here's the thing: they are all going to detect the gravitational waves at a slightly different time based on their position. And when you input the data points of when they're receiving the information, it maps out a sphere. Anything to do with this kind of interferometer proves that the Earth is a globe.
Well, that's what they say. But I know,
Vlad, that's not what they say. That's not what they say. Here's what I want to ask you, okay? If you were to explain what should happen if the Earth is a globe, okay? So let's say that we're not going to say it is a globe. We're going to ask you, what should we expect if it was a globe, okay? So if the arms maintain a relative flatness, okay, meaning that they essentially, the Earth's surface curves from the point of origin, but the LIGO arm remains completely flat relative to that same position, okay? What should we expect 4 kilometers away? That's the question you need to ask yourself. Should we expect one end of the arm to be at a relative higher elevation than the other end of the arm?
Right.
If that is what we should see, then you should test that and see if it is that way. Now, neither one of us are beating our club on top of the LIGO right now. So, I mean, there's no way for me or you to make that observation here. We can either trust the people, the documentation that is being given by LIGO, which their documentation says that they have to account for this. Either they just have to make sure that they insert their asterisk message into their pamphlet so that they can continue to project the globe lie, or the Earth is actually a globe. And the fact of the matter is that straight arms from one point will be, at the end, will have a higher elevation than where it was at the beginning.
Okay, team. Well, well said. I couldn't have said it any better than that myself. You said exactly what I'm proposing, and here's what I'm going to add to that. Number one, as us who believe flat Earth, we don't believe government agencies or science, scientism. We don't buy it. Now look, if I spent 1 week, I'd have to spend 1 week really.
I'm pretty sure LIGO is civilian owned and run. Hold on, let me see. I don't think LIGO is a government owned thing. Let me. I'm double checking.
No, I'm pretty sure it's not.
Well, just like SpaceX is private too, but I don't trust that guy either. They're all cahoots together. As the flat Earth community, we don't trust these people. Okay, just.
Well, yeah, of course you don't trust them because they prove that you're all fucking idiots.
Calm down, Craig. Let me make my point.
I mean, let's face it. Like, Elon Musk has proved that flat earthers are dumb.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, how about this? LIGO is built and operated by Caltech and MIT, so by colleges, not by the government. Like, you don't have to have a DOJ badge, to go inside of LIGO. I'm sure there's places where it's restricted, but there's scientific restrictions on that. You can't go because you can contaminate an experiment or ruin something that's very expensive. But it's civilian operated and owned.
Well, team, listen again. A lot of that stuff is compartmentalized. Like if they're building a skyscraper, the guy who's putting in the lights, he doesn't know how to hang the drywall. So the people that are doing stuff in there have their own little,
So
they have
what?
their own
Right,
little thing that they do.
Vlad, what do you think they're
Wait,
doing
wait.
at
So
LIGO?
bad.
What are they doing at LIGO then? Why have they got these 4-kilometer long tubes? What?
Right. Good question, Craig. You know, to
Yeah.
answer that, I'd have to answer that question, I'd have to spend a week or two over there, and they'd have to explain that shit to me.
No,
And it would
no.
be
Do you
hard
honestly
for
think
To
you'd
answer
have
that
any-
question, you would have to spend
them to
a
Yeah.
decade or two in college, okay?
Right.
Not a week or two
Oh,
at
right.
LIGO, a decade or two at college.
I don't know. No, well, I don't know because they're going to try to teach me some baloney. I'd have to see exactly what they're doing, and they'd have to
They
show
don't
me.
teach
and,
meat
you know,
sciences. They don't teach meat sciences
sciences.
in physics.
I know.
So you're not going
I
to
know
learn
they
about
don't.
bologna or ham or salami
No.
or anything else along any other meat tube out there that you're fantasizing about.
Bella Charge for
that's
$2
your
New
job.
Zealand says it's the world's largest bong. Could you imagine the hit you'd have to take for it to get all the way out that tube?
Hey, fantasizing
Good luck
about
getting
me
it
too
out.
is-
It's fucking a vacuum.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
All you got, honestly, look, hey, honestly, here's all you have to do at LIGO, okay? You have two valves on the arms, on the vacuum tubes, okay? Take one of the tubes, one of the plugs, unscrew that plug, and quickly screw in a bowl, all right? Then what you do is you stuff that bowl. You got to put like about 5 or 6 pounds of weed inside that bowl, but then you light it, and then you open the other end, right? So then the positive pressure from the
it's gonna
atmosphere
drag it
rushes
through.
through the bowl and pulls it all the way through your ice cubes and water and pull it through that creaky river and then comes back out of the other hole and you inhale it. But that's pretty goddamn big fucking bong right there.
I mean, that's a lot of research going into a smoking implement.
That would be a massive bong rip.
I could do it.
That'd
But
be-
yeah, no, it does
I'd be
bring up
I'd
the
be
question,
fine.
Vlad. What are they doing at this installation and the other installations around the world? Why are Germany currently spending over, I think it's 350 million building the largest LIGO installation on the planet? You know, what are they doing?
Right. Well,
You know, and
Well,
in the
again-
same ilk, what are they doing at NASA?
But are-
What are they doing with that
you
52 million a day?
Have you ever seen those fucking LIGO, those German LIGO parties? Oh my god, it's no wonder where
Oh,
their
yeah.
money goes. I mean, America, the
hookers
parties
and
in
blow.
America at the LIGO in America is not. Yeah, it's so many hookers and blow in Germany. I don't know if maybe the scientists are saving their money for a rainy day here in America, but definitely in Germany, the hookers and blow.
I mean, did you hear about the party at
Well,
NASA when Trump said he was upping their budget? They were like, "Oh man, that's so many more hookers and blow each. That's amazing."
I'm glad you brought up those parties. I forgot about that. Those parties are an indicator that they're practicing witchcraft and black magic at those
You know, we
places.
just made
Not
up
all
those
just-
parties for a joke, right?
No, but there was like a tube in Europe, a tunnel that they opened up, and it was also connected with CERN, and they had these kind of ritual, they had like a weird.
Have you been
ritual
watching Buffy the
performance.
Vampire Slayer?
Hey, I just want to
Well,
let you
that
guys
is-
know I have been corrected. Vlad, you would love to know that I have been corrected. This whole time when I was talking about LIGO, I was actually getting that confused with the other government-run experiment to hide the Earth and get people fucking totally ripped. It's called HIGO.
Hygo.
What's HIGO?
r/Bush.
I don't get
That's
that.
that's where you go to smoke. That's where you go for
Team,
the fucking.
you don't have to explain the joke.
The vacuum tube arms for weed.
Bella Charge at
boom,
5
boom.
New Zealand. Bella Charge at $5 New Zealand dollars says, "We all know LIGO is just a cheap Stargate. They haven't quite got the wormhole to connect yet. We need to find the 7th symbol."
Right.
Yeah.
See, that guy knows what he's talking about.
So do you think it's more likely to be some kind of portal than
I
you know-
play video games with that guy. He does not know what the fuck he's talking about.
Alien X Gaming has upgraded his membership. Thank you very much, buddy. Really do appreciate it. Jess for $2 says, "Vlad is under the impression you meant Legoland."
Oh yeah, LIGO, not Lego, Vlad.
Yeah.
LIGO.
Oh, it's LIGO? I thought
Yeah.
it's Legoland. Okay. Thanks, man. Thank you.
So as we've just busted that evidence of flat Earth, what else you got?
No. Well, look, you guys been talking. You didn't let me finish my point.
Okay, please do carry on.
All
Probably
right.
because
So,
your point is so dull that it just, at any point in time around the curve that you call a point, we just assume that was the apex. Our bad.
Yeah, no, my point is so powerful that you have to try to run monologue over me to suppress the truth that's going to come and just wipe out what you guys are trying to push here. So that's why you try to talk over me.
Okay then.
Talk over you.
Yeah, come on, get your point.
You're
then.
one of the few people I would love to have just continuously talk and never stop. Like, I could listen to you for like ASMR as like sleep music. Just have Rad Vlad in the background.
All right.
There's something wrong with that. Here, let me do it. Hold on. Yeah, I got to turn myself up for that though. Hold on. I got you, bud.
All right. Can I talk now, or should I come back in 5 minutes?
Yes, Vlad, on you go.
All right. So, number one, to really know what's going on at LIGO and CERN, I'd have to go in there, and they'd have to explain it to me, and I'd have to, get my hands on there and really see for myself. Number one. Okay. Number two, I would like to really know about whether or not the tube is higher at one end than the other. You gotta measure yourself from the water up. Okay, that's number one. That's number two. Number three, if the Earth is round, that would mean that at one end of the tube, I could put a marble on there, and it would have to roll downhill, even though it's a perfectly level.
Yes,
straight, well,
that is correct.
So that's an interesting thing. That I wish we could go up there and they'd let
I can
us.
just imagine the conversation. Sir, what are you doing? Why have you got a bag of marbles? How did you get up
all
there?
All you see is Vlad look back and go, "Woo, woo, ah, ah, woo, ah."
Yeah.
Then he shits in his hand and throws it at him.
Team, you still got your mic in ASMR mode.
I threw it.
Yeah.
So, that would be I wish we could do that, because that would shut up one side or the other. If that marble rolls downhill, then you guys are right. If it stayed in its place, then I'm right. Or
let's just hold on. Let's get one thing clear. If the marble rolls, Vlad, if the marble begins to roll, it does not settle the debate. It just requires you to dance more. Because you know that's what flat earthers will do. You'll dance around that observation until you have an explanation that satisfies your preconceived conclusion.
Yeah.
You would never just say, "Oh my God, the marble rolled. The Earth, guys, it's a globe. Guess what? We just figured it out because this fucking marble rolled down the cart." No, you would never do that. You would just try to look and dance until you found another fucking explanation.
Let me tell you something about that, team. I don't know about all the other flat earthers, and I don't know about globe earthers, but me personally, if it rolled down, I would change sides. I'm not Mr. Ego and Pride. I want the truth.
Oh, of course you would.
So hold on. You're telling me that a marble. Hold on. You're telling me that a marble rolling down what could possibly be just an uneven surface would immediately change one of your core personal beliefs that the Earth is not flat. Not the pictures from space. Not the fucking impossible photos we have from hundreds of thousands of kilometers above us. Not that. But the one thing that could be faked by simply putting a wooden wedge on one end of the experiment and going, let's make this guy believe the Earth is a globe. I mean, that's all it takes. The pictures, no. But the marble rolling, yep. 100% must be a globe. It's illogical, Vlad. It's completely illogical that something that small and that easy to fake would convince you that the Earth is a globe, whereas something so fucking monumentally hard and impossible to fake completely does not. That's ass backwards logic, bro.
Can I answer you?
Yes, please.
The marble test is an observable, testable, repeatable proof that I can do myself, it would 100% prove Earth is flat or round. All those photos, I got pictures of Bigfoot I could show you, man. You believe, what are you talking about? You're talking foolishness. That's not nonsense what you're saying. I'm supposed to believe a picture. If that marble rolls, I say, man, you guys are right. Now, I'll tell you one thing. It'd be better if the tube was 10 miles long. Then we wouldn't have any question, because that would be like, I think that's 10 miles is like 600 or 66 feet of curvature. I forget which one it is right now.
You know what type of engineering feat it would be required to build a 10-mile long tube that doesn't deviate whatsoever? You'd want it above the Earth, right? I mean, we couldn't build this through the Earth and say, look, we're going to build it slightly down and it's going to come out at the other end at precisely this distance. We couldn't do that, and because then that would be going underground. You'd say, hey, where'd the tunnel go? How can I make sure that it's not just following the ground? I mean, it would always be this argument, but you're not recognizing what kind of like impossibly hard feat you're requiring for you to change your beliefs.
Look, you see how I can make a right angle with these two sticks? So no matter what the ground is, as long as I follow the top of the pole, this could be the pole that holds the LIGO. As long as I make a right angle in here, from here to here, and then put another one here, and keep going for 10 miles, if I follow the right angle, not the ground, that would produce a perfectly
Vlad, you could put a
line.
GPS. You could put a GPS reading at one end and a GPS reading at the other end and be way more accurate.
Yeah, plus I got told that angles don't actually exist by right the hand, so...
What?
No, seriously. A flat earther told me angles don't exist.
Well, he was wrong. Oh, you're talking to me right now. Angles, dude, the people at the end of that 10 mile, if it was a 10, we could probably do with the 4 miles.
There's something wrong with those angles.
Yeah. Hey, Vlad, do me a favor. Do me a favor. Look at the camera and just say, right the hand, you're a fucking idiot.
To what?
All right, look at the camera and say, right the hand, you're a fucking idiot.
No, I don't know. Oh, to him? Wow,
Yeah.
Man.
Come on.
Well, he's wrong about angles. If you don't figure, I mean,
I just want that clip to send him. I just want a clip to send him of you calling him a fucking idiot, please.
I can't go against my flat earth brethren like that, man. Don't put me on that spot, Craig.
Come on, Vlad. I would put it up in his video.
Vlad, it's okay. This guy actually challenged, he claimed that he could beat up any woman out there, and a woman challenged him and beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
We have video proof of that too.
Played during the whole debate. Yeah.
Yeah, play the video. Play a little clip of the video fight. Just so you can see what your brethren are talking about.
So
this is your kinfolk.
Oh, she's doing jujitsu, man. Girls that know jujitsu are hard to wrestle with, especially if they're big.
I won't want to fucking fight her. Look at her toying with him.
Dude, she's dominating.
Yeah, they have strong legs.
This cacao.
Honestly, I could watch this all day. Like, I never get bored of seeing him just get whooped. Like, he can't even push her off.
How'd you guys set that up, man? It's hilarious.
Taps out. Beautiful.
Yeah. Well, hold on. No, it gets better. Wait till you see her face. Wait till you see the face she makes when she's like toying with him.
Here we go.
Like she's completely dominating him, right? Look at this.
Nothing he can do.
Yeah. Look at that face. I love it.
That's embarrassing. He got humiliated back there.
Yeah.
He doesn't need more. He doesn't need more. That's bad. She was
tapped out so quickly as well, little pussy.
But I would like to see her wrap up team like that, man. Team would be tapping out
man,
quicker.
I'd love it. I'd love it. I'd grease myself up, man. No, I'd grease myself. Listen, hey, you ever heard of that shit called, what's it called? You know it's not butter? Or I can't believe it's not butter?
It's not butter.
I would be the I can't believe it's not butter warrior. Like literally,
Oh, yeah.
I would have a melt. I know it's really hard to melt that shit, so I would melt it in front of people to show my dominance over I can't believe it's not butter. Then I would jump in the melted pool of butter, lube myself up, and my signature move is I would literally bring the tub of butter, of the I can't believe it's not butter tub, onto the fucking WWE thing, and then I'd do like a fucking top rope elbow drop onto my opponent so hard that I bounce him into the tub. Okay? That's like the I can't believe I'm not butter. That's what I'm gonna say. I can't believe I'm not butter. That's what my name is.
He's trying to get a sponsorship deal.
Should do it. It's never been done before. I mean, that sounds pretty cool. I'd tune in for that.
Sounds like a dominant strategy.
Let me just do a few more of the super chats.
Fucking with that shit.
Bella Charge for $5 New Zealand dollars says that Team Skeptic, his back is hurting from all the times he carries you.
Shit.
PhD Tony for $5 Australian dollars says, Vlad, you're a funny man, but you need to educate yourself. Absolutely, you do, Vlad. Go to college, man. Johnny Marr for £2 says, is that is that Play-Doh that he's playing with? Are you playing with Play-Doh? You are, aren't you?
It's clay.
Are you making your dinner?
Yeah,
is that what it is? Sparky NJ for $2 says Stargate beats Star Trek every time. You know, there's an argument for that, honestly. Basic Trigonometry for £2 says Vlad can roll marbles down the outside of a tube. Yeah, that'd be impressive. How are you going to roll a marble on the outside of a tube?
I know. I thought about that. It gets a little tricky. But the concept, though, is solid. The concept is solid. You know, you'd have to make a flat part. You know, man, it would prove if Earth is flat or round. Now, it doesn't have to be that too. But
it already does prove that Earth is round, though.
No, you'd have to prove. It could be testable, observable, repeatable proof. If you had a perfectly straight, let's say, for example, a 10 miles long. So there's no question, a 10-mile long platform. If you put a marble at the end of it that's flat, not a tube, a flat one. A flat platform, if you put a marble on the end of it and it rolls back down the platform, Earth is a ball. If it doesn't roll, Earth is flat. Settle it once and for all.
I will give you $100 right now if you can describe the math that explains how fast that marble will accelerate down that tube.
Well, that's easy money.
And how long it will take it will take the marble to get to the other tube, assuming there's no friction.
Why you want to play around with the math problem? You know I don't do those kind of equations, man.
He doesn't do math, team. Something very close to math. But...
I told you I'd give you $100, bro. It's worth learning this fucking math concept for $100, bro. Come on.
Well, it don't matter because that's on a piece of paper. I'm talking on the real Earth. You put that platform.
This is real world. This is real world physics right here. This is probably one of the most basic things: inclines and declines. Come on now.
Right, but so which one are you gonna make? Is it a ball Earth or a flat Earth? When you draw your picture for that math equation, man. What are you talking about?
He was asking. Oh my God. Yeah, he didn't even understand the question, team. We'd have to spend a week explaining the logic behind the question that you just asked.
You want me to suppose it's a globe? Yeah, I wouldn't know how to do that math problem. Someone could explain it to me, then I'll do it. Just like they explained to you one day.
Just like the scientists at LIGO are going to spend 2 weeks explaining to you how, no, you're not rolling a marble on it. Please get off. Stop doing that. It's expensive.
Yeah, I forgot. We have too many physicists in the audience for me to be saying stuff like friction doesn't exist, because then you run into the problem of, well, friction doesn't exist and it doesn't roll. I'm saying to minimize the friction that would slow the ball down, guys. Come on now.
Yeah, just remove that variable from the equation.
Jeez. I'm sorry for all the physicists out there that I upset with that comment right now.
Vlad. J.L. Warren says for $4.99, science aside, why in your opinion does the Earth have to be flat?
Because I don't see good proof that it's a globe.
I mean, apart from all the pictures and experiments and measurements, of course.
I'm not buying it. Looks fake.
You mean you don't understand it?
I want to see with my own eyes. I believe stuff I can see with my own eyes. I don't believe in pictures and videos like that. I mean, like if I watch a Jacques Cousteau going underwater in a scuba gear and he's filming down there,
Vlad,
Hey,
listen,
defendant,
man.
let's
That
talk.
argument works.
Let's
That
talk.
argument works. Listen, that argument works, but then you can't say that because you watch fucking ships go over the horizon with your own eyes. There's no denying that. So if you're
Rockies
going to use
filmed
that
loads.
argument, yeah, if you're going to use that argument that I can see it, I can test it, I can everything, I can make the observation myself, I don't have to rely on anybody else, that is the absolute easiest observation that you would need to explain. Why do ships disappear bottom first as they get further away from the beach?
You're bringing up a baby globe Earth argument that we already answered that a long time ago, man.
No, you guys think you've answered it, but
A no answer is not the same as an answer, Vlad. Come on now.
Hey, I bring up some new stuff with LIGO, and I got a couple more on my list. You're bringing up old stuff, team. We already, we went over. You get a telescope, and there it is. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Get a telescope, and there it is.
Basic trigonometry for £2 says Bev's water level would work in this situation. Bev's water level is a fucking joke. His experiment, well, I can't wait. He's made the whole website fucking saying how much he hates me. It's incredible. Better charge for $5 says at 10 miles the angle to the ground wouldn't be square. If it was 90 degrees to the pipe, it would fall over because of gravity. Yeah, but he doesn't believe in gravity, so... God's Auditor for $2 says, it's not butter, means something else. And Calypsis for $2 says, glue Hot Wheels track to the top of it. Would that work?
I'm gonna start calling when talking about flat hurts. I think I'm gonna flat hurts, flatards, flat earthers. I think we're gonna call it. I can't believe it's not butt hurt.
I can't believe it's not butt hurt. Like it.
Hey, I got a news flash for you guys. I do believe in something you could call gravity. I do believe that there is something that either is pushing us down towards
Give
the
us a
ground
mathematical model to explain it.
Yeah.
Give us a mathematical model that we can test to explain it. Like I'm willing to accept. Hold on, I'm willing to accept your explanation for gravity if you're willing to give me test. And a way to test it, to verify it, and a way to test it to eliminate its non-presence. Okay, do you understand that?
I mean, I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
No, of course you.
Well, like you got to be able to have a way to disprove it. You have to be able to show a way that everything that we're seeing is not being caused by gravity. It's being caused by something else. So you'd have to have a way to show that it's not gravity.
I do believe there's some weak force that does track things downward. There's a downward. You can call it gravity if you want, but I don't believe that force is able to hurl the moon around the Earth, and it's hurling Mercury around. I mean, Pluto around the sun.
I mean, if you believe in gravity, then that's what we say gravity does. And the calculations behind that acceleration that we feel on Earth works when you move it out to the solar system.
I will say that your incredulity is somewhat cute, though. It's fairly adorable.
Yeah, it's very cute.
It doesn't look good on an adult man, but if you were a 10-year-old fucking kid, yeah, sure, it'd be cute that you were this ignorant.
Gravity's not strong enough to do all that. You just
citation required.
Well, it's not. A butterfly can defeat gravity. We can go up very easily.
Cool. FTFE M1 M2 over R squared. That answers your question.
Name something that doesn't fly. Name something that doesn't fly in lieu of a butterfly flying. Like, why can a butterfly fly when X can't? Fill in the blank with X.
What is it,
Vlad?
that something else doesn't?
Gravity is so weak. I can defeat gravity by jumping. I jump up.
I don't think you answered my question. Let me re-ask the question, Vlad. Okay. Fill in the blank right here. Okay. Why can a butterfly fly? If gravity exists, then why can a butterfly fly when a fill in the blank can't? Please fill in the blank.
Do.
A worm.
A worm doesn't have wings, you asshole. Sorry, I love you, Vlad, but I've got to make
Birds aren't
laugh.
rocket powered, mate.
Yeah.
Right. Right. if he did, he
I
could
can't
fly
believe it's
nicely.
not butter can't fly either, but you know
Oh,
why?
Gleam, come
Because
on.
I can't believe it's not butter. It's not. Doesn't have wings.
Yeah,
Gleam's
right.
going to be debating team on Sunday,
You're
and
welcome.
he's just come into the chat with one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard. A single fridge magnet is stronger than the whole of Earth's gravity field. Ugh.
Yeah,
Facepalm.
Because he's right.
No, he's
A
really
magnet
fucking
could-
not.
If you put something metallic on the floor that's light enough, the magnet could defeat gravity and suck it to itself, and the Earth would be sitting there going, "Oh, I'm not strong enough to hold it down." A magnet
Shrink
could
that Earth
defeat
down to the
Earth's
size of a marble. Shrink the Earth's mass down to the size of a marble, and no, a fucking magnet can't defeat the force of gravity. So.
If you shrunk Earth down, it would be even weaker. It would be even weaker if you shrunk it down.
Not
Dean,
if
what are
you
you talking
maintained
about?
its
Not if you
mass.
can. No, I said keep its mass. I said keeping its mass and shrinking it down. In other words, making it more and more dense.
But now you're making up fairy tales. Now you're making up stuff. That,
We're not making up
you're
anything.
making stuff. Now you're talking about Superman can beat the Incredible Hulk. Hey man,
I
who's
mean,
the
we
guy
are
that just made that
discussing the flat Earth, right? Hold on, we are discussing the flat Earth, right? I mean, by definition, you guys are literally making this up as you go. There's no science behind anything you're saying tonight. You're just making it up as you go, which is fine. We're entertaining that
hilarious.
because it's a funny. Yeah, it's super funny that someone actually believes this. So to us, it is pretty damn funny. But keep in mind when you're saying, "Oh, now you're changing stuff and making it." Well, yeah, you changed the topography of the Earth by saying, "Hey, guess what? We're gonna assume the Earth is not a globe and just assume that it's flat." Well, you made that shit up. So, fairy tales.
Sleepy Dan says for $5 that we can see
you
balls
guys
in
know
space
the
with stuff.
story.
Hold on, Vlad. We can see balls in stuff we can see balls in space with stuff sticking to the bottom of them, gas, clouds, rocks, etc. How do you think stuff sticks to the bottom of the moon?
How does stuff stick to the bottom of the moon?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Well, it's a very
Well, the moon-
simple
the moon
answer
is
to
a-
it. Do you want to know the answer?
Well, you're gonna say gravity.
Well, I'm not going to say gravity.
Gravity! Gravity, you fucking retard! Gravity!
He's going to say gravity.
No, but
Hey,
I said
Vlad,
5 minutes ago.
you wanna Vlad?
guy, hold on,
you
hold
wanna
on.
do something?
Hold on, team, hold on. I did say 5 minutes ago. I do believe there is a downward pull. There is some. You can call it gravity. I call it gravity.
We do
But it's
call it
not
gravity,
strong
that's what
enough-
it is.
Okay, that's fine, but that gravity's not strong enough to hurl planets around the solar system because a magnet.
It doesn't
can
hurl
defeat it, just like
anything.
I was smart.
That's
Yeah,
not
it
that's not
does.
how this works. That's not how any of this works, Vlad. I mean, you're basically
It
saying
can't-
I don't understand gravity, therefore it's not real.
Hey,
No, no,
Vlad,
I'm not saying
Vlad,
it's not-
this year for Halloween, listen, this year for Halloween, I want us to go out together and go trick-or-treating together, okay? I'm going to go as Captain Science, and you're going to go as Dr. Incredulity, okay?
There's going to be no trick-or-treating this year, though.
We will get lots of candy. We'll get all that COVID candy.
All that COVID candy. Titanic Terrarium says for $5 Sega Genesis dollars, we need more shouting and swearing. We can do that. Vlad, you're a fucking idiot. Rampant for 1,000 claps says he doesn't do math, only lead. And Dan Robinson for £6.66, Hail Sagan. By definition, jumping means you can't defy gravity. That would be flying, dickhead. You've got a point.
I defied for a little while. I don't have wings.
No, but you come back down.
Hey.
Wait, are you saying if you jump,
Well, but
you have wings?
Yeah. No. There's a weak. Look, how many times I have to say it? There is a force that causes us to come downward towards the Earth, but that force isn't hurling planets around the Earth either, or around the sun. That's all made up of baloney.
Citation
That's what I'm
required.
saying. It's not strong enough. Gravity's not. It's known as a weak force, anyways. Even by the
Wait, hey,
scientists.
whoa!
They-
Did you just bring up baloney again? I thought we already covered space meets a while back, okay? They don't make bologna in space, nor do they make bologna in science class. That's at a meat processing plant.
Gravity is a weak force. Even the scientists say so. They say there's four forces, four energies in the universe.
you don't
Did you
know
say
any
it's
of
a
that.
wheat? You said, hold on, did you say it's a wheat force? Like
I thought it was more corn-based.
W-H-E-A-T? Wheat.
Like
Wheat.
shredded wheat. Shredded wheat. Shredded wheat. Shredded wheat. Right?
I like it. He can even say the wheat. Say it for me. Wheat.
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 Yes.
Now say Cool Whip.
What?
Say Cool Whip.
Say cool whip.
Nah. Hey,
Vlad, you're fun. Right, Vlad, you said you had some other proofs apart from the not understanding LIGO. What else you got?
Is the wheat force
again,
frosted?
To wrap up LIGO, just to wrap up, they'll move to something else. Team is very afraid of LIGO because he's saying, the friction and you can't build it that way. Very afraid of it. Why are you so afraid
I'm afraid of LIGO, guys.
Scary LIGO.
I'm gonna tell you something. Of all the things in life, Vlad, I'm not afraid of very many things, but you are absolutely right. Something named LIGO does scare me.
Team, are you ready?
You're scared.
Hold on to your trousers.
Yeah.
I don't want you to get too scared. Ah!
Oh shit! I'm looking at the stream and not this. Hold on. Fuck. Ah!
It's gone. It's gone. Wait.
Ah!
It's okay. It's all right, team. I got you. Don't worry. We'll keep scary LIGO away.
If we proved Earth was flat, team would go bananas. He'd be in one of those padded rooms.
Bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S.
So, are you going to? Would you like to talk to a PhD?
If we proved to team that Earth was flat, he'd be in a padded room for the rest of his life. Going.
Man, hey, how do you know I'm not in a fucking padded room already? See, I mean, you could be fucking with a truly deranged individual here.
I do
believe the Earth is a globe, right?
Yeah, you must be dumb.
I do believe the Earth is a globe, right? I mean, I'm off my fucking rocker, aren't I? Unstable.
You believe. You believe.
Yeah, it's just a religion completely. So I'm bringing in someone who's got a PhD and deals with gravity and stuff. He can explain to you your issues with that. What other evidence do you have then?
Okay, here's another good one that we touched on before, but I did some thinking on it, and this time I'm going to massacre you with it. When we looked at the shadow of the moon on the Earth during the 2017 eclipse, August 2017 eclipse,
yeah.
the weather balloon footage, you guys said that it was overexposed. So you were saying that the sun, what looked like. Huh?
Carry on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Your argument was that the shadow was really much bigger than it appeared to be on the video, but the problem is that the video was overexposed, and that sunlit portion of Earth was actually the penumbra. It was actually the penumbra, and it just that it was overexposed.
Can you spell that?
So, yeah, but I can spell it. I have to write it. Don't throw me off my train of thought here. I'm not a good speller, team. I'm not that good at spelling.
To say the least.
I think
Well, let's welcome Dr. Tony Purcell to the stream. PhD Tony, how you doing, my friend?
I am well, thank you. Am I unmuted? Have I unmuted myself?
Yes, you can be heard.
Okay.
Welcome.
Excellent.
How are you doing?
How are you? I'm well. I'm actually a little under the weather today, but
I'm sad to hear that.
That's okay. Well enough to be here, I guess.
So
how
this
are
is
you
suffering from? Would you say that you're suffering from coronavirus or carinitis?
Carinitis.
Possibly carinitis. Not sure what it is.
Oh shit! There's no cure for that.
Yeah,
no, there isn't. How are you? How are you, Vlad?
Hi, Tony. I remember you. Good to see you again, buddy.
Good to see you again. So I just want Gleam. Gleam's statement about the Earth's gravity field being weak. One of the you need to define what you mean by strength, right? So Earth is able to hold me to the Earth. Earth's gravity field holds me to the Earth. It holds you to the Earth. It holds everybody to the Earth. It holds every loose object to the Earth. Can a fridge magnet do that? No. So obviously the statement that the fridge magnet is stronger than Earth's gravitational field is false, right? That's just ludicrous. The fridge magnet can hold itself aloft. It can resist falling by, so it can resist the force of gravity on it for at least some period of time. But that's a different statement. That really isn't a metric of strength in a meaningful sense. I wouldn't have said, because strength is not actually mathematically well defined.
Right.
So
how is it defined? How do you define the strength? How do you define the strength of gravity then? To define, I agree with you.
So
how do you define?
So there are different. One of the ways to do it would be to take the sum of the potential field strength through space. That would be one way to define the strength of the of a gravitational or an electromagnetic field. So you would look at gravitational potential values through space, and simply because Earth's gravitational field affects a much larger area, it's got a much larger potential. Well, it's a much stronger field in that sense.
But what you just said, you guys haven't proven to me. It's just like it's talking stories in the book. I haven't seen those planets.
Okay, so can we start with okay, so do you know that Earth's gravitational field varies, right? It's stronger in some places and weaker in others. Did you know that? Okay, so we can measure this with a thing called a gravimeter, right? And there are various different types of gravimeter, but they all give the same results. The same object will fall faster in some places and more slowly in others. And it doesn't matter what the object is, you can change the object. That's because now we can explain that. It's because there's denser material just underneath the surface, right? And that denser material attracts the mass more quickly. So because there's more denser material under the ground, the object above that denser material falls faster, okay? Whereas if there's less dense material under the ground, it falls more slowly because there's not as much force pulling it down. And so we can use that, and we do use that in science and in various other ways to work out where there are minerals underneath the ground, okay? If we're looking for gold or uranium or some heavy mineral, we're looking for places where the gravity is high. If we're looking for oil or gas or something that's less dense, then we're looking for places where density is low. So we're looking for lower gravity. We're looking for low gravity anomalies, and so we can use this. And mineral companies do. Mineral companies invest a lot of money doing these surveys, mapping out the gravity field, and then they can use that to work out where the minerals are. This is all a bit abstract. Would you like to see some pictures, do you think?
No, I'm following you. I had a question for you. I'll look at the picture, but I had a question for you about that before I forget. I wanted to ask you something about that, what you just said. Okay. Yep. Two questions. Where on Earth do you fall the fastest, and where do you fall the slowest? Do you know?
No, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know.
Although there is a difference between this, for instance, the poles and the equator. The gravitational acceleration at the equator is about 0.5% less than it is at the poles. because at the equator you have the added centrifugal force from the Earth rotating, and it's slightly further away from the center of the Earth due to the centrifugal force making the Earth slightly oblate. So you are going to fall slightly faster at the poles than at the equator. But as Tony was saying, there's other points around Earth with different minerals and stuff, mountains. You know, there's going to be lots of variations based on the topography of the land and what's underneath as well. So I'm not sure where the fastest place would be, but it'd be likely more towards the poles than the equator.
Are you sure about that?
Well,
yeah. Gravitational acceleration at the equator is less than at the poles.
Yeah, because of centrifugal force. But
yeah.
Vlad?
We should be a lot lighter on the equator. If that's the case, we should be a whole lot lighter on the equator, man. You should be a little bit lighter. Almost. Oh, you should be a lot lighter. Because look how much faster. Well, look how fast it's spinning on the equator as opposed to the North Pole. You're not spinning at all, really. I mean, you know what I mean?
Okay. So can I answer that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we can actually do the numbers here, Vlad. We can work out how much less we should weigh on the equator, and it agrees very well with what we observe. And actually, the difference is something like 0.3% or something like that.
It's very small.
And it's the effect. When people say, "Look, you're moving at 1,000 miles an hour," or what have you, that's a very misleading way to represent it. We don't actually. Rotational energy is affected by radius, but also the angle that you move. It's not so much. It's how quickly that angle is changing. So it's not so much the linear velocity; it's how quickly the angle is going. And of course, the Earth is rotating. The Earth is rotating at about half the speed of the hour hand on a clock. That's actually quite slow, and the radius is quite big. So all of that adds up to this effect. Actually, isn't as big as you might expect. And when you do the numbers, when you use the formula.
Okay, that's fine. If that were the case, then what you're saying is fine. Here's the other thing I want to know. Let's say there's a place on the Earth that has super dense material. So we know that what's dense falls further, and what is not as dense lays behind, right? Lays higher up, correct?
Yeah. Yep, that's right.
So.
And that's an excellent point.
Okay, but so here's my question. So let's say you had a tunnel with going downward with the hardest, densest material you can think of that you know of. If you drop some water in there, it shouldn't go down. It should just kind of float above that, shouldn't it? Because it's not dense enough to go down.
No, because the gravitational force. So even if there's the maximum density of the most dense substance that we're aware of is actually not that much denser than gold, for instance. It's about the same density as gold. It's a little bit denser than gold, but not a whole lot. I think gold is about 20, and osmium is about 22 grams per cubic centimeter. The gravitational attraction sideways, it's not zero, but it's just not large enough to overcome the entire mass of the Earth. So you're right, there is a sideways component there, but it's just not that big. I have a presentation on gravity. Can I send it to one of you? Or?
Just email it to me.
And I just want to point out, I looked it up, and you're right. It's in the highest point of gravity is in the Arctic Ocean at 9.8337 meters per second squared.
Yeah. That would make sense.
So yeah, I just sent it off. It may take a few minutes to get there, but and that's got some plots that may be a little bit useful to see what's going on. But yeah, what you're quite right, and actually, what you say has occurred to people, and they have tested this. Fight the Flat Earth can tell you about the Schehelian experiment, which had to. Where the scientists involved had a plumb bob and they put it next to a mountain, and they tested how much the plumb bob deflected towards the mountain due to the gravity of the mountain. And it turns out the deflection is very, very small, but it was measurable.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
Right, where do you want me to go into that presentation, Tony?
So if you, we've got to go in a few minutes at least. If we go up to, say, 7 minutes in, no, sorry, more than that. Let's go to 9 minutes 20.
From which the test mass is suspended. There are, however, a number of
just you just pause it there. Just pause it there, and so what I'm showing here is the conceptual design of how a basic gravimeter works. You've got a mass that's on a test mass that's on a spring, and if it's over something that's got greater gravitational acceleration, the spring will extend, and you can measure that using a laser. If you go ahead by about 30 seconds or so. Yeah. So just on. Yeah. So okay, this is all right. This is a gravimeter, and it works by having a very special niobium ball. And if that ball, it's held in place by an electromagnetic field, and if that ball moves at all, if there's any force exerted on the ball, then that will induce an electrical current that will push the ball back to where it was. And so you can measure the forces applied to that ball by looking at the electrical current. And so you can use that to very, very plot the changes in force that are applied to the ball. That blue container there, that is super cool. That is about 4 degrees Kelvin, so minus 269 degrees centigrade. So there is no air in there. It's been frozen out. There's only liquid helium. And if you go on about 20 seconds further on. Yeah, so this is what's called a cold atom gravimeter, and what you do is you super cool atoms and then you drop them down, and you hit them with a laser as they're falling, and from the patterns, from the symmetry patterns of the falling atoms, you can actually work out how quickly they were falling in relation to the under the effects of gravity. And here you're just dropping a small number of atoms. So there's no relative density here. You're just dropping atoms through a vacuum. And if you could go on yep.
You gotta keep in mind, Vlad, you gotta keep in mind, this is the most precise method we have yet to measure gravitational acceleration.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, that's fine.
So
can I ask a question?
Yep.
Go ahead and ask a question.
All right, man. I noticed, we all ate cereal before. Listen, Team's my handler. Make sure I, get off on the right foot here.
I would have quit my job by now. I would have quit my job by now, Vlad. I'm just letting you know. Even if the entirety of national security depended on me being your handler, I would have face-palmed to the point where I would be filling out fucking permanent disability papers and attempting early retirement.
you're doing it anyway, you should be paid for what you do. I'm going to send you an application because I need a good handler, man. I think you're the man for the job. Yeah. But
well, it just depends. I mean, if you're really a flat earther, you can't afford me to be your handler. Okay, that's just the bottom line. You're gonna need to make more than $10 an hour to afford me.
But I make money. I know I'm good at making money. Listen, back to PhD Tony. I hope I don't get interrupted again. You know,
okay.
I mean, we've all eaten cereal and they kind of clump together. You know, you see in your bowl that the cereal, wherever you're eating, it comes together. And then I imagine if it wasn't for friction, other things would also clump together as well. So you know, you see things kind of attract to one another. But how much of that is electric or static? There's also static electricity. I know that's a little different though because it acts on lightweight, dry things.
Okay, that's
like
actually nothing to do with gravity or static. That's actually an effect called the Cheerio effect.
But
no.
I want to know. PhD Tony was talking about the sideways pull as well. So what I want to know, how much of this gravity has to do with like an electric charge kind of? You know, how do you know the difference? It's one or the other.
So one of the things we do, and I glossed over it a bit, is we make sure to shield our gravimeters. So we shield them against electromagnetic forces. So we make sure that the object involved is not experiencing any frictional or any electromagnetic, magnetic or air resistance. Also, when we drop the atoms, the atoms are neutrally charged. They don't have an electrical charge on them, so that can't be what's causing the force in that particular case. But you're exactly right, actually, that this is something that does need to be considered and does need to be removed from our calculations. We need to be very careful when doing these experiments to remove any chance that there is an electromagnetic force involved, and make a great deal of effort to do that. So the force that we are seeing applies. If it were electromagnetic, then there would be ways to alter it. And when we try doing that, we don't see gravitation being negated or altered. You know, objects with different charges falling through a vacuum should fall at different rates if it's an electromagnetic force. You know, when we do the corrections, we can eliminate that possibility. But it's an intelligent question. It's not a stupid question by any means.
Well, it's a miracle.
Good job, Brad.
Thanks. I have another question for you, PhD Tony, about the solar system. Okay.
Well, hold on. Before you ask him a question, it's our turn to ask you one. I have a quick one for you. What tastes better, red crayons or lead crayons?
That seems unnecessarily harsh.
I mean, it's a valid question with someone like Brad.
Yeah.
I mean, I am intrigued to know what lead paint tastes like. And
Did you hear him, Tony? He likes them both. It's a valid question. It came with a legitimate answer. Thank you. I just wanted to know. I was thinking about trying some.
Everyone knows that lead crayons are sweeter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you have a little ranch dressing, it's even better.
Ranch dressing's the secret.
All right then, Vlad. Gross, man. I hate everybody on this panel.
We love you too, team. Okay, Vlad. Ask your question about the solar system.
Okay. So we've got the big old sun in the middle, and gravity is constant. Mm-hmm. Big old sun in the middle. And then you got them there. Planets stretching way out there into the cosmos. So the closest one is Mercury. The furthest one is Pluto, but they're about the same size. They're pretty close, same size, same density, right? But yet the one way out there, Pluto, how does the sun know to keep them perfectly not sucked into itself and not to release them either? Like, it's just the perfect amount of gravity to keep it just going perfectly in a circle, even though they're the same size, but they're so much further. How does gravity know that one for one and one for the other?
No, it's actually an interesting question when you get down into the weeds with this, and it's all to do with how the solar system developed, right? We had this so originally the solar system was this disk, this cloud of matter, sort of like a frisbee, if you will, and it was spinning around, right? And eventually gravitational forces pulled material in, but it wasn't uniform density. So there were more dense pieces over here and more dense pieces over here. And in the middle, the largest mass, this was the sun. And but these little density anomalies inside the cloud, they eventually attracted mass towards the well. They built into planets, right? And so the entire design of the solar system is, from the way the solar system was formed, and it's been 4.5 billion years now. So anything that was in an unstable configuration is gone. So there was plenty of stuff that actually wasn't in a perfect orbit. It wasn't in the right spot. But it's been either sucked up into another planet, or it's been sucked up into the sun, or it's been thrown out of the solar system. And all that's left after that enormous amount is the stuff that is stable, right? So, yeah, it looks pretty miraculous that there's only stable stuff left, but that's just because we've been here for a long amount of time. All of the unstable stuff went away for various reasons.
Now,
does that make sense?
Okay, so I think let me ask you. Well, let me ask you a question to Vlad, because I think that his question actually was asking another thing. It's like to say, how does the sun know exactly to pull Earth or Pluto or Jupiter with an exact amount of force to keep it on a periodic orbit? Like where is the information coming from to say pull Pluto with so much strength? Is that correct, Vlad? And I'm not trying to straw man you here or make you look or sound stupid. So if it's not what you mean, just tell me hey, this is not what I mean.
You're a good handler. You I couldn't have said it better myself. That's exactly what I'm asking.
Okay, so let me explain that a little bit, okay? And it would really behoove you. It would benefit you, Vlad, to go ahead and look up Kepler's laws of planetary motion. They do describe exactly why things are the way they are. But let's take out Earth and the moon and the sun or all that right now for just a second. Let's focus on something a little bit more localized and something that you can actually visualize, okay? And let's talk about the ISS, right? Because you can actually look up in the sky and it's not that hard. You just got to know a little bit of trigonometry to calculate the speed of the ISS. And we find that the ISS is going at about a velocity of close to 17,500, I believe it's miles per hour, either miles per hour or kilometers per hour, okay? So you can take this velocity and you can plug this into an equation that tells you what the centrifugal force is on, an object going in a circular orbit at a constant velocity. Okay, so people ask, how do the people float on the inside of the ISS? Well, within the frame of reference, within the ISS, you have the gravitational field pulling down at a certain level, or gravitational acceleration towards the Earth at a certain rate, and then or acceleration, and then you have the opposite acceleration also due to the centrifugal force of the ISS going around in a circle at a particular velocity. Okay, so these two things cancel each other out, making it appear to be weightless or zero gravity on the inside. Microgravity is what it's really called, but it's just an appearance, right? You're still dealing with the acceleration of gravity towards the Earth, but now you're also dealing with the acceleration outwards due to the centrifugal force. All right. So what would happen then if the object began speeding up. Okay?
Right.
So let's think about that from a perspective of the object is we have an object that has the exact same centrifugal force outwards as it does centripetal force towards the Earth, or the gravitational force toward the Earth, okay? We speed this object up. The moment we speed it up, it then gives the entire ISS would have an outward acceleration. The centrifugal force acceleration would then go up, okay? Which would mean it would then exceed the gravitational drop, the gravitational acceleration of the Earth, which would then literally, it would push the ISS further away from the Earth. The orbit would then become further, because then you'd have to make a bigger circle so that you would eventually get to the same acceleration towards the Earth as centrifugal force acceleration away from the Earth. Okay? So that's how, it's not that it knows, it's that there's a balancing force. And with, the gravity of the planets going around, it's not the exact same thing. It's not, because we're talking about reference frames and the inside of the, the ISS. It's the same similar concepts, because you have to find that balancing out. If you sped up a planet, like let's say a planet just naturally sped up some way or another, well, its orbit would naturally get larger as well.
Yeah, and it would, the orbit would move out to a new equilibrium position. So if there's enough time, everything will end up in a reasonably stable configuration.
Okay, well that's
sorry.
Exactly.
Okay, well what Team's saying, what you guys are saying, and what Team just said is exactly what I'm getting at. And the key word is balancing it. So what I'd like to know is that's a whole lot of crazy, delicate balancing going on to keep that solar system afloat. Because that's what I was saying. The Pluto is the furthest from the sun. Mercury is closest to the sun, but they're about the same size and density. So I don't know the numbers, but for Pluto to not get sucked in, and for Mercury to not get sucked in, and for Pluto to not be released and just cast off into space. I mean, at some point get released. They would have to be.
Okay, let me ask you something. Let me ask you if you have a.
Can I actually look at that?
Does Pluto go the exact right speed to be where it's at compared to Mercury?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So Vlad, you just answered your own question.
You'd have to balance the weight of the planet, the size of it, and the speed, and then compare it to the relative gravity of the sun, and it would all have to work out perfectly. And I don't think it does. Who knows that math? I don't think it's
well,
because they got Saturn and Jupiter in the middle.
That maths has been explored quite extensively.
No, but all planets are different sizes, and some are closer, some are further, some are in the middle. There's no way they're all going the exact right speed to not get pulled in or not get released out further and further. How Well, the numbers add up.
If I can.
Yeah, go on, Tony.
So to some extent, everybody's right. In answer to your last question, yes, the numbers do add up. We can check out the all of the orbits for all of the planets, and they are where we say they are. In fact, it's better than that. Some time ago, it was noticed that Uranus, the planet Uranus, its orbit wasn't right, and people looked at the orbit and they say, well, the orbit would be right if there was another planet around here somewhere, and they looked over there, and sure enough, they found Neptune. So our understanding of the orbits of these planets is really, really, really precise. And the theory of gravity is so good that we have used it to infer the existence of planets we didn't know about, that we weren't able to see before then. So so yes, we do understand this all very well. At the other side, what you say also has another element of truth, which is to say that the system is broadly stable, but it's not perfectly stable. It's constantly evolving. Okay, Earth's orbit actually isn't the same from year to year. We're being pulled by the gravitational attraction of the other planets, which are in different positions. So we're being moved around in. We're being moved around. That seems a little unfair. We're being moved around inside our orbit by the gravitational attraction of Jupiter and Uranus and the other planets. And so our orbits are constantly evolving. They're not always the same. It's not persistent, which is exactly what you were saying, that things will always move around a little bit, and they do, but they do it in accord with the laws of gravity that we understand. A lot of the questions that you're asking are actually quite advanced questions that quite intelligent people spent a lot of time analyzing in some detail. So you shouldn't be at all embarrassed to ask them.
All right, thanks. Yeah, I think about this stuff. It's interesting to me. But, okay, here's what I'd like to know, because I'm a show me kind of guy at this point. I used to believe the TV and the sciences. I have my doubts now, but I'm telling you, I'm honest. Team doesn't believe me. If the marble rolls down the LIGO tube, I can't say I believe Earth is flat anymore. He doesn't believe me, but I know myself. I would jump ship. I don't need to be
as your handler, Vlad, I can tell you with 100% certainty that you're full of shit. So that's why I don't believe you.
Remember who's the boss right now, handler. Hey, here's what I want to know. Handler, the handled is always right. Okay, remember that, handler. Your job is just to keep out of trouble. You know.
Yeah.
You got that?
Oh God, I'm in deep shit with that job right there.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah. Unfortunately.
I tell you, I'd feel dumb. I'd feel dumb if I spent all this time telling all my friends and family and people I don't know that Earth is flat and I was wrong.
Oh, you're gonna feel so dumb, Vlad. You're gonna feel so dumb.
I feel like until you guys haven't convinced me. You guys haven't convinced me so far. But look, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie and say, it's flat when I know it's wrong. I'm gonna jump ship. Big deal. I've been wrong. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. It's not about that for me.
You're not. No flat earther admits that they've ever been wrong.
So I'm not.
We're being harsh.
Yeah. Hey, but let me ask you this, Tony. Yeah. What I want to know is, I want to know how fast is Mercury orbiting, the speed, and how fast is Pluto orbiting? Can we Google that? How many miles per hour is it zooming around in that orbit? How many miles per hour? That's what I want to know. I know you probably don't know offhand.
I don't know.
What do you guys do?
I don't. Yeah.
I want to know right now because I'll tell you.
Unless get the info.
Mercury has to be going real fast to not get sucked in, and Pluto's got to be going nice and slow to not get released. Because if Pluto's going fast, it's gonna go blast off to the into the next galaxy.
Okay, so
Mercury's orbit is about 48 kilometers a second.
Okay, hold on. 40
Pluto 48. Yeah, 48 kilometers a second. Pluto's is 4.7.
It's about 10 times difference.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Mercury. Okay, all right. Mercury's going 48 kilometers per second. Yeah. And how much is Pluto going?
Yeah.
4.7.
4.7.
And Earth, interestingly, is at 30 kilometers per second.
Earth is at 30.
Wow,
huh?
I'm having so much fun with these people calling me about political surveys. Oh my God. I think I should just start recording these.
Oh.
They want you to vote for someone. What's Earth is going 30 point what?
30, just 30.
30 point fast.
30 point fast.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to check these
It is.
and I'll get back to you.
How are you going to check them, Vlad? You're going to go and measure?
Well, he's going to Google them and he's going to check various sources. It's yeah. So the these we have checked this and in considerable detail, but so these questions aren't bad questions. Yeah.
I'm sure they thought of all this stuff before I did, and then laid out the perfect numbers. I mean, if I'm thinking of it, they thought of it way before me. That's fine.
So I want to.
You guys
just. Yeah, we do. Can I? So in the I just wanted to return slightly to my gravity presentation because we didn't get that far into it. So I just wanted to get to if you get to 10.5 minutes in.
But I'll tell you right now, I'm just looking at this number. Mercury's going 10 times faster than Pluto, but it ain't 10 times further. It's way further than Pluto. So Pluto's not going. One of them either going too fast or not fast enough, guys. The numbers don't. It needs to be much different.
The numbers don't add up, guys.
So you need to look at the. So centrifugal force is v squared on r. Okay. So it decreases in inverse proportion to radius, but it increases with the square of the velocity. So so v squared is v squared is 10 times. But if you just look at the screen here, you can see. So what we do is we put gravimeters. We don't just keep them in the one place. We can put them in planes. We can put them on boats. We can even put them in borehole probes. So on the right there, that's a drill rig. That metal canister has a gravimeter at it. And then you can move that canister up and down a borehole so you can take gravity readings at different depths inside the the borehole. So, and if you go another 30 seconds ahead. Yeah, so here's the results of a gravimetry survey, and you can see there's a low gravity area there, and that low gravity area is a gas deposit, gas/oil deposit, and so the company now knows where it should be drilling in order to get gas, and this technique is accurate enough that mineral companies find minerals. Now it's all based on Newtonian gravity, so that G m1 m2 over r squared formula work out where the mineral deposits are. And so if gravity doesn't work the way we say it works, we shouldn't be able to find these mineral deposits. We do find the mineral deposits, therefore...
Yeah, I wanted to say, at least Vlad, if gravity wasn't real the way we understand it to be, okay, then there would be huge amounts of inconsistencies in these readings, right? Because these readings are reading the gravitational acceleration. They're reading as we understand gravity to be. They're using our understanding of gravity to locate these anomalies. So if gravity wasn't real, then wouldn't you agree with me that this would be highly inconsistent and not worth the millions and millions of dollars that gas, oil, and mineral companies put into this science?
Well, yeah, I would disagree with you because you're able to locate those minerals according to
As
the
your
density.
handler, you're not allowed to disagree with that comment at that statement, okay? As your handler, you're not allowed to do that. Just agree and explain.
Okay, forget it. Well, I just gotta add this part. That part is fine and dandy. They can find the minerals with the gadgets according to the density. That's fine. But when you guys apply that to the symphony,
I think you're missing the point, though.
When you try to apply what you're saying there and say that can also give us the symphony of the solar system in its delicate balance, falls apart. It can't give us that what you put forward in those pictures in the animations with the planets zooming around the sun. It wouldn't work. It can't work like that.
But unfortunately for everything you just said, it does work. And that's what we're saying. Tony is telling you that millions and millions of dollars are invested. Hold on. Tony is telling you that millions and millions of dollars are invested in people who know how to know this science, have the ability to use these machines and find these anomalies, because it benefits a company, right, a mineral company or an oil and gas company. It benefits them to find these pockets efficiently, right? I mean, they don't want to spend months and months and months drilling into the ground just randomly looking for a natural gas deposit. They want to be able to go out there and use some kind of science to find them. And we have a science that's based around gravity, and it only works if our understanding of gravity is solid. And sure enough, it works. So by fucking inference, you would say that supports the assertion that gravity is in fact a real force.
It works for finding what you're looking for, but make a big old iron ball and then make another little one orbit around it. Show me that and I'll believe you.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, we have done
2 r squared kind of says that wouldn't happen on such a small scale.
Well, we have done that with satellites, right?
Why can't it happen on a small scale? It's all relative compared to the universe. It's all particles of dust.
If you got a little iron ball and a little smaller ball, like, you know, relative to us, the gravitational acceleration caused by the bigger ball in front of you is not going to be enough to make the other ball that's right in front of you orbit it. It's just not massive enough. You know, it's not like a direct correlation to the size of everything is just going to scale down. Because there's this squared relationship, to the power of squared relationship. The more the mass and the distance increases, it's going to change it not on a linear scale. You know, it's going to get as the distance increases, the gravitational force is going to get exponentially weaker. As the mass gets larger, the gravitational force is going to get exponentially larger. It's not a direct, straight correlation. You know, you can't just take a model of the Earth and the Moon, relative size, and stick them in your bedroom, and that model is going to start orbiting. The model simply wouldn't be big enough to warp space-time enough for that to happen.
Okay. Well, what's the smallest possible model you can make that would produce the desired effect? How small?
Like an orbit, like an established orbit. Or is that what you're asking for? An established orbit of one thing around another? Yeah, it's not going to happen. Not here in fucking on the Earth. Not with us having to deal with the entire mass of the Earth underneath us.
No.
What about you and Craig orbit around one another?
Oh, well, Team orbits around me, because the thing is, between me and Team, our relative masses are so different. His mass compared to mine is so minuscule that if I do get near him, he is pulled in by my gravitational force.
But I'll tell you what, out in the middle of space. But hey, check this out, Vlad. In the middle of space, once we lock together, we're never coming apart, bro.
No,
we're a forever body. We are now one gravitational body.
You guys ever had a sleepover? You stay up late and watch scary movies, you and Craig?
Dude, have you not? You've not done that with Craig yet? It's amazing. You should try it.
Yeah, the only problem is you got to watch out when Team tries to get in your sleeping bag. Team, we got separate ones for a reason, okay?
I don't believe in separate sleeping bags.
I just wanted to say, so I've just been checking in the background here, Vlad, about so the orbital radius of Mercury is 0.39 astronomical units. The mean orbital radius, or the semi-major axis of Pluto's orbit, is 39.5 astronomical units, so about 100 times. So, that's about 100 times bigger. Yep. Do you agree with that?
Okay.
And that's about that's the ratio of the velocity squared, right? V squared of Mercury is 100 times V squared of Pluto. So it's exactly proportional to what we would expect.
Okay. Well, I'm naive to think that I'm the first guy that thought about that problem, and that it wasn't thought of before me, and that it was worked out on a piece of paper. That's fine. I'm sure it all works on paper.
Yep.
But I'd like to see you guys. Hold on. I want to see a model. I want to see an iron ball with a smaller one orbiting around it. What's the smallest that it can make? What scale? Put it out on the ISS. You guys have got satellites. Look, hold on. There's satellites out there in space, and you've got one 1 million miles from Earth. Well, could put one 2 million miles away, so it's not being affected by other things. In that case, how big of a ball, iron ball, would you need to cause another object to orbit around it, not get pulled in? It might get pulled into it, but I want to see you make it orbit around and not get launched off and not get sucked in. Perfectly balanced. I want to see you guys make that. That's
to be brutally honest. To be brutally honest, what you're describing there sounds very much like the Cavendish experiment in space.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right. So if we can get the Cavendish experiment to work on Earth, so the Cavendish experiment was an experiment where they got lead balls and they tested how much lateral force a lead ball could exert another. And indeed, Blue Marble Science is constructing a very nice, with beautiful woodwork. He's reconstructing the original so he can redo the experiment. So you should check out his channel because he's going to be looking at this.
Hey,
go ahead.
I don't hear you guys.
Yeah, we're here.
But the Cavendish is saying one is pulling into another. I believe that it's possible. I'm not doubting that. What I'm saying, I want to see its orbit. That's the bull crap.
Dude, what about Jupiter? Hold on, Vlad, what about the moons of Jupiter? Okay, the Galilean moons of Jupiter, you can see them from the surface of the Earth with a telescope. They orbit Jupiter. We've seen them with our own eyes orbiting Jupiter. There's no way around it.
Yeah.
Why do they orbit Jupiter?
You can go out with a telescope and watch them with your own eyes, and you can see how they vary in position. All there is a couple of pieces of glass between you and. So so you can go out, you can get a decent telescope, and you can look at Jupiter or Saturn, for that matter. You can see the satellite. You can see some of the satellites of Saturn, and you can see change position over time. And you can see they're always moving around Jupiter. So these things seem to be in orbit, and and indeed we can track their orbits. We can model their orbits using the theory we have, Newtonian gravity. And so it just seems when you go out at night and you look at Jupiter through a telescope, all that is between you and Jupiter are a couple of pieces of glass and some air. That's it. You are clapping eyes on Jupiter. So this is the evidence of your own eyes. There's no photographs, there's no images, there's no anything like that. You're just watching something with your own eyes. So if you do that, I guarantee you'll see these moons walk around. It's a great example, team. Nice work.
Yeah, I'm about to play a video right now.
Just before you do, I just want to give a quick shout out to Wolfie6020, who has just donated $750 because apparently Ranty doesn't want any money and a free trip to Norway, and then a camper van bought for him whilst he goes and tries to explore Australia. So yeah, Ranty recently doing a video complaining about how he doesn't make any money and then literally doesn't want free money. So cheers, Ranty, and Wolfie6020, you're fucking amazing. Wow.
It's
all right, team.
That is shocking.
Yeah,
that is shockingly disappointing.
It blows my mind. Right, team, you're full screen. Look at those moons orbiting Jupiter.
Not just that, but Jupiter's rotating as well.
Aye, quite clearly.
There you go, Vlad. You asked for objects. You asked for objects orbiting around another object, not on Earth, and we have now presented that for you.
Well, there are things, but it's not something that you produce. There are things in the heavens which are functioning differently.
I don't have to produce anything, man.
So you want team to build a planet?
Why would I have to? Yeah, why would I have to produce Jupiter and the moons to going around Jupiter?
The fact
why is it not okay for just the universe to build that example you're looking for, and why can you not accept the universe? A completely non-biased source, right? You could say me building it, I'm building it with a bias with a conclusion, whether I want to admit it or not, right? The universe is so completely non-biased, and it still gives you the evidence and the example you're looking for, and you're still saying there's a problem with it. Maybe the problem's not with the evidence, Vlad.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. That's fine that I see the moons orbiting around Jupiter, just like you and Craig orbit around one another. There's an attraction there, and they move around. But the way the things function in the heavens are different here. What I'm saying, the fact that we are settled on the Earth doesn't necessarily mean we are orbiting around the sun and that we're on a ball Earth. That doesn't have me convinced. I can look up at the sky and I see the moon, I see the sun, I see the stars, I can see Jupiter with a telescope and Saturn, but all those things we believe are circling above us. We're not on a planet going around the sun. That's what I'm not convinced of.
Okay, can I raise a couple of
Yeah, I was going to say that, team. Well done.
Can I raise a couple of points there? One,
yes, go ahead, Tim.
My dad is a very keen amateur astronomer, but also deeply religious, and he finds watching, looking at nebulae and galaxies and stars, he just finds it awe-inspiring to see the majesty of what he regards as God's creation. And it's a bit disappointing that when you see the same things, you just say, well, that's a light show. It doesn't mean anything. It isn't actually important. It's just an illusion. And the other point I would like to bring up is that I don't see that the shape of the planet really has much impact on the Christian message, right? On Christian theology. Christ's message would be just as powerful and relevant if the Earth were round as if the Earth was flat, right? Would you agree with that?
Well, okay. First of all, yeah. Well, yeah, of course. Of course, I would, Tony. But I never said it's just a light show. I described the heavens as the heavens. It's God's creation.
Right.
My only point was that what we observe in the heavens is different than what we observe on Earth. I mean, there's things floating around up there, and science seeks to understand that and how it all happens. And science has a lot of things right. And I love science, and I believe in a lot of scientific things, of course. But there's a point where kind of stories have have originated from science. It's more like a story at some point. You know, at some point it's like we're kind of like making shit up now. You know, kind of
there's evidence for all these things.
I'm not against science, and about but I'll tell you though, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But
You're
to
wrong.
say that we're on a flat, to say we're on a flat Earth instead of a planet revolving around the sun is a point for the Christian camp, for the people, for the non-atheists. It is a point because then we're the center. Then we're the center of God's creation, and He's directly above, looking down at us. Now, so that and that's the only point about that. It would be a point for the Christian.
Okay,
but
I have a question about that. I have a question about that. If the universe is created solely for humans to inhabit it, right? Why do humans get skin cancer from sunlight?
In fact, just explain Australia, please. I'm pretty sure everything in Australia wants to kill you.
Yeah, if this Earth is perfectly made for us, why do limnic eruptions? Why do they exist?
It's not perfectly made for us anymore. That's the problem. It was a fall. There was a.
It never was. No. It never was. We evolved to the Earth. The Earth did not evolve to us.
So, why did my wife have to stab me with an EpiPen a week ago after I came into contact with some nuts? Why is there food on this perfectly designed planet that will close my throat over and make me die?
That statement was way too hyperbolic.
To be fair, Flat, if I were your wife, I'd be stabbing you regularly too. But
I mean, she did enjoy it. She said in the same day she got to poison me with nuts and she got to stab me, so she was quite happy.
Yeah, hey, no lie, if I was your wife, I'd be pissed off if I walked in and found a whole bunch of nuts on your face too.
Is he doing like some kind of rap song there? That was pretty cool.
No, he wrote it out, obviously.
Yeah.
Something's happening to your connection there, Vlad.
You there, Vlad?
Yeah. I see.
Yeah, you were breaking up a little bit there, but it seems to be sorted now.
Yeah. But she likes when I do the tapping. Hey guys, my wife. She likes when I do.
Hey,
the
fight.
tapping, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, team.
Fight. I have a series of questions that I would like to ask you.
Go ahead.
If you have nuts on the wall, are they walnuts?
Obviously.
If you have nuts on your chest, would they be chestnuts?
Quite clearly, yes. That's how naming things works.
If you have nuts on your chin, would they be chin nuts?
You'd have to ask Nathan Oakley. He really wants to put some there.
No, bitch! You have a dick in your mouth! Sorry, had to do
it. But yeah, no, seriously. Nuts and kiwi both will kill me. This planet's not designed for us very well at all.
Well, we agree on that. It's not. We live in a fallen world, but to believe that we're the result of some mindless explosion is ridiculous. The atheist viewpoint is absurd. It's so absurd. You guys can't even. You're embarrassing yourselves.
Sorry, what explosion? What explosion are you talking about, Brad?
Huh?
What explosion are you talking about?
Craig, you have a family. You have a beautiful son. You have children. Team also, I think, has a family. Dude, guys, that's not the result of some mindless explosion that happened.
No, that was the result of me and my wife getting jiggy with it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Man.
But Brad, what explosion are you talking about? There was no explosion.
The greatest possible chaos you can imagine is going to end up producing all the beautiful things we see in our creation, man. You guys are out of your mind. What's wrong with you guys? How can you believe something so ridiculous?
Because the facts tell us that is the way that things happened.
No, but you have no common sense.
So let me.
You don't blow up a. It's ridiculous.
Right, Vlad, take a breath.
Let me explain. let me explain the alternative hypothesis. The alternative hypothesis is that there is a creator, but he is an evil, uncaring, sociopathic dick.
Absolutely.
Now, if you want to believe...
With little to no control of his creation, by the way.
Yeah.
With little to no control of his creation, either he is uninclined to intervene or he is unable to intervene.
Yeah.
And it's I just could not. I could no longer believe that there was a God, simply from the suffering, the pointless suffering that animals in general undergo. If it's all about humans, if it's all about human salvation and human relationship with God, why do animals suffer? Why do they suffer disease? Why do they suffer starvation? Why do they suffer injury? It doesn't do anybody any
Why do they
good.
exist
There's no
at all?
benefit to us.
Why, I mean, why do they exist at all?
Vlad, I think one of the biggest questions that I have is that, so you say God created the universe and everything in it, right?
Well, one question at a time, guys. I mean, I'd like to answer, but I'm getting hit with like 10 different questions. So, I mean, give me a couple and let me answer.
That is a fair point.
You know, Greg?
Right. Well, let me just quickly ask you. So you say that God created the universe, and the earth and everything in it, right? God created it all. Yeah, that's what you say.
God created everything seen and unseen.
Right. Okay.
He made it all.
If God created everything, why is there starving children? Why can't he just create more food?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. I'll answer that question.
Because he doesn't want to. He's a dick.
Okay, that's fine. Look, like Tony was saying too. Let's suppose he's the biggest jerk in the universe. Okay?
If he exists, he has to be.
Okay,
I'm good with that assessment. Let's go.
Okay, so let's say God is a sadistic, mean kid just torturing a bunch of little bugs. Okay, that's that's possible. That's possible. What you guys believe is impossible. That everything just came together from a big, enormous blast. The ultimate chaos produced the ultimate.
There was no blast.
Yeah, I don't think you know what the Big Bang actually is.
Now you guys, it was a Big Bang before. Now you guys switched to expansion because a big explosion doesn't work for you. So now it's an expansion. Whatever.
It never was a Big Bang. It was just colloquially called it. Somebody, Lemaitre, was it Lemaitre? Was that his name? He coined the term the Big Bang.
No. It was
not Lemaitre. What was it? Is it the Catholic priest? Yeah, hold on.
No, it was the guy with the. It was the guy with the living universe theory.
It was a Big Bang 3 days ago, and now it's an expansion.
Oh, wait,
but you guys are still.
It says it was coined by George Lemaitre, is what it says.
Yeah. But now
but it might.
Okay, it was a Big Bang 3 days ago, but now you guys call it an expansion. You're still stuck with the mindless.
Fred Hoyle. That's
the thing is, Rad. Right? It's not just mindless because we can actually we can look at what's going on in the universe. We can look back in time by looking into the distant universe, so far back that we can see the exact point when the universe became opaque. We can literally see when that happened. It's called the what's it? Fucking
recombination.
The recombination event. All right, that was the point where the universe cooled down enough that electrons could bind to protons and stuff, and you could actually start to have atoms and molecules in the universe. We can see when that happened because it happened at the same time all over the universe. It's called the cosmic microwave background radiation. We can look back in time and we can see a point where the universe was tiny because that's what fucking happened.
Craig, what you guys believe is impossible. What we believe is possible.
No, it's empirical observations, Vlad. It's not just impossible. We can empirically see these things. We see the cosmic microwave background radiation. You see it every time you turn on your 1970s tube TV. It's there. It's observable.
Your AM radio. You hear the static on the radio.
That stuff can't build you and me, Craig. And
citation required.
Well, your incredulity is not impressive.
require a citation. You have to show something naked all by itself, but with no guiding thought. Mind produces order and creation. You don't get that from chaos, from disorder. You don't get order from a mindless.
In fact, you can.
Yeah.
In fact, you can. If you look at the. You can.
I had an
Vlad, one sec. Vlad, hold on. Vlad, hold on. Let Tony respond to you there.
Okay. So the law of entropy states that the entropy of a closed system cannot reduce, but you can reduce the order in one portion of the system by increasing the disorder in the rest of the system. And to that extent, life as we understand it actually cheats because it does. It exports all of its disorder into the rest of the universe. So the order that you see is a result of self-perpetuating thermodynamically consistent systems where, yes, the entropy in this portion of the system is decreasing, but the entropy everywhere else is increasing.
Vlad, how do you cool down your food in the fridge? Like, that's all you have to ask. How is it possible to cool your food down in the fridge using refrigeration?
I'm never going to pull a team.
How are we decreasing? How are we decreasing the entropy within the fridge? How is that possible?
Yeah.
What always happens? You put your hand behind the fridge, and what do you feel?
What happens is I
no. Serious question. Vlad, serious question. There's the radiator behind the fridge. When you put your hand back there, what do you feel? Heat, right?
So okay. Yeah, okay.
So we're reducing entropy within the inside of the system. The interior system is being isolated from the outside by the barrier of the fridge, and it's a thermodynamically consistent process because we're decreasing the entropy on the inside of the fridge by increasing it on the outside of the fridge. So the overall net gain of entropy across the universe is still positive.
Yeah.
So that's how we made Team Skeptic? That's how you were made?
That's how I was made. My daddy sweated out. My daddy sweated out all the heat. The heat underneath the sheets, you know what I mean? It took a little bit of fucking thermodynamic processes, but yeah.
What you don't know is Team is still a work in progress. We've been trying to get it right. Team's kind of like the midway point between actually getting the correct ingredients. That's why he looks the way he does.
That Team on the refrigerator. What you guys believe is impossible. What we believe is possible. It's possible.
So you're saying it's possible that some magic Sky Daddy sneezed the universe into existence. Please explain how that's possible.
That's fine.
Also keep in mind the fact that it's possible it's possible from our point of view, and that's the only way that we can do things like refrigeration, Vlad. Okay, go ahead, PhD Tony. I'm sorry.
So I want to make 2 points. One is that you just saying that it isn't possible isn't actually an argument. It's an assertion. And you can say it over and over again. And we can say, well, it is possible over again. Ultimately, the only way to distinguish is to actually look at the available evidence. Okay, us saying it is, it isn't, it is, it isn't constructive. It's just not. It's not an adult discussion. And from your understanding of the universe, you don't think that it's possible, but you are unaware of a lot of the evidence that is out there, and I think that actually Craig misspoke. Craig and I both don't agree that there's a God. But to say and you know, I believe that it is, you know, not possible for there to be a benevolent, certainly. But to say that Sky Daddy didn't sneeze the universe into existence is a bit of an overstatement. We can't. It's just not provable. It's not testable. It's not impossible, but it's not testable, and it provides no understanding of our current. If you want to have faith in God, that is probably a result of your personal experience. Okay, that's probably a result of your personal relationship, and your personal experience of how you interpret the world, and that's fine. You're entitled to that. Nobody's saying you can't have faith, you can't have a religion. Nobody's saying that. Okay, we're just saying what I'd like to get back to is actually the evidence about the shape of the Earth. Let's restrict the discussion to what we can actually have information to analyze and discuss. Because if we go out into theology, it's just going to turn into sort of empty both sides.
Yeah. So we're going to be going for about another 20-25 minutes. Vlad, as we've got a expert here, one of the smartest people I've ever spoken to, PhD Tony, take the opportunity and ask him.
Oh, hold on. That's fun. Why? Hold on. Can we just admit that he discriminates? You're discriminating. Oh my God. All right, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Tony's kind of smart.
We've also got Team Skeptic here, who's kind of smart. So if you would like to ask either Team Skeptic or PhD Tony, a question about physics that you don't understand or something, please go ahead.
Well, I'll ask Team about crayons if I think of anything. But
oh, Team, you got burned by Rad.
I mean, he and I are the only two people qualified to talk about the taste of them. So,
well, yeah, I got a good one for PhD Tony, and I'll take it back to one of the proofs I wanted to put forward with you guys. That weather balloon footage of the moon, a shadow on Earth. I mean, I don't know if Tony, if that's really his expertise, because I'm gonna talk about the quality of that film. Craig, last time we talked about it, just for everyone listening who doesn't know about it, there was a weather balloon sent up that videotaped the actual eclipse in August 2017. The actual eclipse. The weather balloon made a video of the shadow on the Earth, and it's cool because on the video you can move the mouse around and kind of move the camera somehow. I'm not sure you call that. You can scroll it around the whole scene. And now, in that video, you see a small, sharp shadow with umbra inside and penumbra around it. You can see that within the perimeter of the shadow. And then around the perimeter of that shadow, you see sunlit Earth. Now, first time me and Craig went at it, he said the sunlit Earth is actually exposed penumbra, and the umbra is the shadow that you're seeing. And then we went back and forth on that. He's like, I'm right, you're right, I'm right, you're right. Then later on, I looked at the video again, and I noticed that if you look at it again with a fresh eye, first of all, you're going to see that's not overexposed. That's very high quality, well done video. It's made very well. There's a range of tones from darkest dark to lightest light, and all the mid ranges in between, all the saturated colors that need to be there are there. In something that's overexposed, you're going to have a faded, it's going to look faded. There's going to be no dark darks, no richly saturated colors, and everything's going to look a little washed out. That video doesn't look like that. And again, when you look within the shadow itself, which is a small shadow, the moon cannot be more than 70 miles wide because that shadow was 70 miles wide on the Earth. It's a shadow can't be smaller than the object casting it. And now the other side say, well, umbra penumbra.
You simple-minded individual.
I know, right?
The other, hold on. The globe earthers are going to go, umbra penumbra. But guys, I got news for you. In that shadow, you can see the umbra and penumbra within the perimeter of that small, sharp shadow. And around it, you see sunlit Earth. So if you want to pull that up, if you guys have the gut.
Yeah, I'm showing it now.
The gut. Okay, there you go.
So can I
had you on. This is boring.
Can I
Yes.
Hold on. So let me just finish up my presentation. Within what we're looking at right now, you see the dark umbra, and then close to the edge, you see the penumbra lighter. Now there's like 20 minutes of this video. You see the umbra and penumbra right there. The extra dark shadows, the umbra, the penumbra is lighter, and then around it is sunlit Earth. That's a slam dunk. That around it is not penumbra. That's what Craig was saying. Oh, that's not sunlit Earth. That's penumbra.
Hey, do
Nonsense.
you have fight? Hold on, Vlad, hold on. Fight. Do you have Mr. Sensible's video?
That's exactly what I was going to look for.
That's a slam dunk.
But whilst I'm getting that, let Tony respond to.
I like to see what Tony says about that. I don't know if Tony's ever seen that. Man, that's a little tiny shadow. The moon, the shadow of the moon should cover the entire United States if it's over 2,000 miles wide. We see there a tiny little bitty shadow, 70 miles wide, a sharp, dark shadow with sunlit Earth all around it. That's not possible if the moon is 2,000 miles wide.
Okay. So my first point is about the itty bitty shadow. Okay, so it is a lot smaller than the sun. Suppose you take a really big light and you hold up a quarter of it, okay, right in front, and then you look at the wall. You see a nice crisp shadow of the quarter. No, you're not.
Yeah.
The quarter is going to be really, really fuzzy because there's light pouring all around that, because the light is much bigger than the thing casting the shadow. And that's the main thing here. The sun is a lot bigger than the moon, and that's what's going on. What about with, there are indeed, inside the darker elements of the shadow here, there are indeed lighter shapes. My interpretation of that, and you said it up front, I'm not an expert in photography, but my interpretation of that, you've actually got light paths bouncing off clouds outside the shadow, reflecting to cloud inside the shadow, reflecting off that cloud, and rising up to the weather balloon. So what you're seeing there, those lighter shapes inside the darker umbra, are a result of light scattering or light reflection from the clouds in the from the clouds that are around that point. So to me, I don't see anything there. And again, I would suggest that if you wanted a really, really solid answer, you would go speak to somebody who's an expert on this high altitude imagery,
Go to school.
and can explain all of the various. There are a lot of optical effects that can occur in the atmosphere due to reflection and scattering and refraction and all of that sort of stuff.
Well, Tony, you're a smart guy, and I'm just one. Now, we're both not experts in this field. Maybe I'm a little bit more. I deal with visual arts, and I do know about film and visual things, photography, picture making. I know about light and dark and shading and okay. I know. But
coloring inside the lines 80% of the time isn't the same thing.
Yeah, but just from one side to another,
they're being unnecessarily harsh. Yeah.
Hey, but Tony, from one regular guy to another, I mean, you did.
Do you know a regular guy, Vlad? It'd be nice if you could get one for us.
Yes.
Tony, I never heard you Tony. I never heard you stuttering so much as when you tried to explain away in that video. You gotta listen to yourself.
Actually. No. You're quite right. You're quite right. Actually, I stutter a lot. Really painful to me. And one of the reasons is. I stutter when I am trying to be as precise as I can in how I express stuff. So I want to be as exact in the way I formulate things as I can be, but I also want to get my grammar correct. And sometimes I will get halfway through a sentence and decide that actually isn't the way I want to express it. And sometimes I'll just get caught up at the start of a sentence and I won't know how to get past the first couple of words. And honestly, I look at myself on video and I just go, oh, for God's senile old fart, spit it out, speak! And people read me about it the entire time.
Tony, you're still relatively new to the whole speaking in this kind of platform. And when I look back at my earlier videos, I said a lot more, and I consciously stopped myself saying that now. I know I still do it quite often, but so many times I'm about to be like and I will force myself to stop it and think about what I'm saying instead, and that just comes with the practice. The thing is, you know what you're talking about. You're just trying to articulate it.
Tony was very
Not
smooth
me.
when
I
he was
remove
talking
my
about
filter and just speak.
Yeah, we know that team.
Tony was very smooth and comfortable when he was talking about stuff he felt comfortable about and confident about. When he saw that video, you know, he's supposed to be the globe proponent here, kind of. He's kind of on your guy's side, but that video made him feel a little bit insecure. He had to kind of cover.
You know, Vlad, normally I don't suggest this. No, Vlad, normally I don't suggest things like this, Vlad, but right now with all this blowing up of Tony you're doing, I would suggest that you two get a room and fuck. Just get it over with.
So I want to say, no, it's not.
Tony
has standards.
Tony, just from one guy to another. I mean, keeping it simple. That looked like a small shadow. It didn't look like that quarter that got pulled real far away from the wall. That shadow wasn't very faded. It was quite dark, and there was sunlit earth obviously all around it. The umbra and penumbra were
imagine how that would look if you were further away.
Yeah, I think that there are a couple of elements with perspective, and also the human eye isn't necessarily. The human eye, I can on the closer side. If you go back to the right there, on this side I can definitely see a penumbra, right? Outside I can definitely see a penumbra. I can't see it on the farther side, but I'm thinking that that's because the angle is wrong. Okay, and again, and I want to say that you need to be a little bit careful, because sometimes scientists can appear very uncertain when they're discussing stuff, because they always take the effort to try and be correct in technical detail, and that can make them sound very hesitant, but that doesn't necessarily make them wrong. A person who gets up and spouts bullshit can sound very confident.
Go back.
And let me point out something, Vlad. Let me point out something. When he's talking about like these scientists are stuttering and because they want to get it exactly right. They want to get it exactly right because they know other people are going to try to replicate what they're talking about. And they want to make sure. Believe me, when people are stuttering talking to flat earthers, they're not stuttering because they're nervous or they don't know the science. That's opposite to what Tony's talking about. He is just coming from a professional point of view to say sometimes they stutter because they want to make sure to get everything right the very first time. Something flat earthers would never understand, getting things right the first time. So that would be why.
Okay, right there. Well, what I would say is what made Tony feel a little uncomfortable is the fact that this picture is very clear and simple.
He's not uncomfortable.
Not at all.
He's not uncomfortable.
Because
he's not uncomfortable.
Okay, whatever. This is a very easy. Even a monkey can see this. It's very simple thing to see. You have a dark umbra towards the left. Put the picture back. You got to make it big, please. You got a dark umbra towards the left of that shadow in the center there. Then towards the right is the penumbra, the faded part, the lightning, and then in the background is the sunlit earth. Now, according
it's also
to Craig,
closer to this bit than this bit, so you got compressed perspective going on.
Hold on, Tony. According to Craig, that's not sunlit earth. That's just the penumbra in the background. Do you agree with that?
Sorry, can you ask me what is being classified as penumbra?
I said
so
this round here, basically. I said.
Okay. I would suggest that. I would suggest that that's a possible interpretation. Yes. Again, I wouldn't be.
Okay, Tony. In the background, that light part, is that sunlit earth or is that shadow? Penumbra? Is that penumbra?
So there does seem to be a a gradation. It does seem to get lighter as you move further up towards the move further up. So when you're down, that there, just below the mouse, that's bright sunlit Earth. At the point where the cursor is, it seems to be getting slightly darker, and then it gets steadily darker as it moves in towards the penumbra. Now again, this is one of the things. So Mr. Sensible did a great video where he used video software to assess the color change, the grayscale change, moving from moving from the umbra into the penumbra, and he just did a really smashing job. Just a first-rate piece of science communication right here.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you, I have a very good eye. I'm no musician, but I have a very good eye because I'm a visual artist. That video is not overexposed whatsoever. It's very well done. There's a range from
Vlad, eating crayons does not make you a fucking visual artist. We've talked about this. And it also, before you call yourself a dietitian, it doesn't make you a dietitian either, okay?
That there video is 100% slam dunk for flat Earth, right in your guy's face.
Of course it is,
shows
Vlad.
a small shadow.
Of course it is, Vlad.
It is.
You know what? And on that slam dunk of your fantasy world, we are going to start reading out super chats and then leave it for the night because it's starting to get quite late. Vlad, I don't know how it's possible, but I think you're getting dumber.
So Vlad, you ask some intelligent questions, but really, sort of, we keep on getting back to a point where you just say that something is, and I don't think that you have demonstrated it.
What?
But I think you get to a point where you just assert that you've won, or you assert that you've made your point, and I don't think you've actually presented the evidence or the logic to back up that claim.
Tony, you said yourself. Tony, you just said yourself in the background was sunlit Earth, and the penumbra was the lighter part of the shadow, and then the umbra was the darker part. You said yourself. You agreed with me.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. But
okay.
that is as expected on.
Yeah.
That is as expected on the globe Earth. So there's nothing in there that isn't what we would expect on the globe Earth. With our model of the solar system.
It might be a globe Earth, but that proves that the moon is not more than 70 miles wide. So you guys have a problem.
Except it doesn't, because of the other video I showed. And Brainy Beaver's just turned up in the chat, and he says, "I for one would like to apologise for finding Vlad. We do not forgive you, you stupid platypus." But I'm going to read super chats. We got a new member for Dancing Ostrich. Thank you very much. You can use the awesome emojis of Nathan Thompson in jail. Sleeping Warrior with shit on his head, and also Team Skeptic wearing a mankini. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I just want to make, before you do that, but just in case he has to leave, I just want to say something, man, kind of in support of you, Vlad, okay? So, while if I was heading into an intellectual conversation and I needed it to take a partner with me to go in there, I would rather take the butt plug welded to fight the Flat Earth's fucking wheelchair than you. However, tonight, you have once again shown that you do have a value when it comes to comedy. Because of all the Flat Earthers, I think you're the funniest.
Yeah, you're very good at it.
Looking.
So, very... Team, you're awesome.
Thanks.
Robert Williams for $1.99 says, "What are Kepler's laws of planetary motion?" Do you know that, Vlad?
You said something about Kepler's motion?
Yeah, could you name just one of Kepler's laws?
And the first law is not going to work.
You
can't just say the first law.
If you don't know, Vlad, you can just say I don't know.
We're going to work on that with you, Vlad. Say it with me. Say, I don't know.
I don't remember. Next
Better
question.
charge for $5 New Zealand dollars says, don't take Team Skeptic out. He answers the door to kids in his mankini. That's right. If anyone didn't know, Team Skeptic once answered the door to children whilst wearing a mankini.
Wow, guys, I just realized something. We're 26 days away from the 1 year
Anniversary of that.
event. October 31st, 2019.
That was an awesome
Live on
day.
in
Not
infamy.
for those poor children. They're now in therapy, but, you know.
I'm gonna go get that tattooed on my penis. So
not
when
much
every
space
time I
to
have sex,
say.
a girl says, "Why do you have that date on there?" And be like, "That's the date I answered the door, a bunch of kids in my mankini."
That's the day I got put on a register.
Yeah.
Titanic Terrarium for $5 Sega Genesis dollars says, bring on PhD Tony. Done. Always a pleasure to have PhD Tony on. Andreas Eldritch for 20 secs says, Chevrolet Bel Air has wings but do not fly. Okay then. Roll Mops for £5. FTFE, please check email. Iceland proves the globe. Evidence for a globe. I'd like to put that to all Flerfs. I will check my email, but I have, let me see, 1,656 unopened emails. I will get that down at some point. Better charge for $2 New Zealand dollars says, Pluto isn't a planet anymore. Thanks, NDT. No, Pluto is a, what do they call it? I can't remember what the name for it is now.
Planetesimal.
Whatever.
Tiny planet. Rampant for 1,000 claps says Tony is one crack pipe away from being Daniel Pratt.
I was trying to answer the question the whole time. It's not a planetesimal. It's a dwarf planet.
Dwarf planet. That's it.
Dwarf planet. Okay.
Yeah. We've actually discovered that Tony and Daniel Pratt look pretty much identical. So.
I am not kidding. I forgot that we put Tony's face inside of... Oh, wait, that's actually Tony's hoodie as well.
Yeah.
I forgot. I thought, immediately looking at it, I thought it was Pratt. I'm not even kidding. Like, I didn't... That's when you know the meme works, right? That's when you know the meme works.
Yes, that's right.
Is when you look at it and you're fooled. Wow. Good job, whoever made that.
Calepsis for $5 says, thing is, it's not perfect. Every orbit is elliptical and all of them are decaying slightly over time, but that's all expected and predictable. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Our orbit isn't a perfect circle. Illuminous Poo for $2 says, I might be wrong. Yes, Vlad. Yes, you are. Rampant for 1,000 claps says, Ranty chickened out. I thought he accepted the trip. So what happened was Ranty didn't get enough, basically. He also wanted Wolfie to pay for insurance for a camper van for a 6-month trip around Australia, as well as a £1,000 plus worth trip to go and do a photography course in Norway and $750 spending money. He still wanted more. So thanks, Ranty, for the money. Cheers for that. Everyone should go into Ranty's latest video and tell him that I said thanks for the $750. Then we got Jackalope Herdmaster for $2 says Wolfie 6020 is the best. Yes, he fucking is. I'm going to be treating my wife and kids to something nice with that. Gislin Bredu for 20 Canadian dollars says thanks for your compassion and the great streams, FTFE. No worries, thank you. Welcome back to the streams. Robert Williams for $4.99 says actually Galileo had law of falling bodies. Kepler had laws of planetary motion. Newton showed that they had the same cause. Yeah, but Vlad doesn't understand any of that. Better charge for $2 New Zealand dollars.
Vlad, you disappointed me, You disappointed me when we asked you about Kepler's laws of motion, and you said you didn't know it. That's the first part that you get right. The second part you're supposed to say is, what are they? Explain them to me.
Yeah, please,
so
please
I can
give me
understand
more knowledge.
them. But it's okay. We'll get to that another day.
Whatever. Who cares? I don't care about it.
I know you don't, Vlad. Better charge for $2 New Zealand
But how
dollars
can you
says,
argue
wait,
how can you argue fucking cosmology if you don't care about something that's essential to our understanding of cosmology?
Well, you know, I see enough about it that I can smell a rat. You know, I'm seeing cartoons. You know, I know, show me some real.
Well, you think you're seeing cartoons. You say you're seeing cartoons.
Yeah,
but you've
when
never shown any evidence of that.
The moment I ask you to explain the bullshit, you can't. Because then you just start saying, oh, well, look up in the sky, we see this. And I say, okay, what about the moons around Jupiter? Oh, well, I have no idea about that. Okay, what about Kepler's laws? Well, I don't have anything idea about that either. Well, how the fuck are you even prepared to talk about the cosmology of our solar system if you don't even know how to fucking explain those very basic concepts?
Mm-hmm.
No offense. I mean, I actually like you, Vlad, but You know, I think you need to understand your hypocrisy.
Vlad, the Earth's not flat. Stop being dumb.
Those above us move around, but we're on a flat plane, and you guys haven't convinced me otherwise.
I mean, measurements
things
and
above
everything, but never mind. Bella Charge for $2 says, we're lucky the dinosaurs aren't around. They'd be smarter than flat earthers. Seek Truth, Speak Truth, the best ex-flat earther that there is, for £5. If there was a God, why do they let us hide them? Yeah, because God sucks at being God, basically. Illuminous Poo for $2. FTFE, could you forward my email to Cream Skeptic, please? Yes, team, I did forward you an email from Illuminous Poo. So check your email.
Okay.
Calepsis for $5 says, if the universe is infinite and everlasting, the probability of the existence of everything physically possible is 1. Yeah, if the universe is infinite, then everything would exist, definitely at some point. Jess for $2
including
says...
God. Including God. Everything except God would exist, right?
Well, we don't need God, that's the point.
No. So there's a stipulation to that. There's a stipulation to that, though. There's a stipulation to that. It's everything that can exist within our natural laws will exist.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that something that goes against the natural laws of the universe is able to exist given enough time. It still must fall within the rules of the universe.
There's nothing about God that goes against any natural laws or supernatural. That's the word.
Oh yeah, cool. Nothing against God. He made a fucking man out of a rib. Sorry, he made a woman out of a man's rib. That goes against the natural laws. Jess for $2 says the Big Wang theory is now a thing. Facts. And then Jess for $2 says, for fuck's sake, stop tagging Gleam. Let's enjoy the show. Yeah, you can enjoy Gleam getting destroyed on Sunday. That on Team's channel. Better Charge for $2 New Zealand says. Okay, Vlad. No one can hear you with your awful microphone, so never mind. Better Charge for $2 New Zealand says, sounds like Vlad is trying to recharge the ring. And then Better Charge for $2 New Zealand says, it's hard for Tony to dumb it down enough for you, Vlad. Yeah, we all have that issue when talking to flat earthers.
Yeah, but you're listening, boy. But you're listening to the show, boy. You're over there listening.
Yeah, they're listening to us call you an idiot.
Yeah, it's entertaining. Like I'll give it to you, man. You are definitely not your normal retard. You are definitely a funny retard. So.
Yeah, you're on the.
I beat you guys with LIGO, and I beat you with the moon shadow. I beat you with LIGO, and I beat you with the moon shadow.
Both the moon and LIGO prove the Earth's a globe, you moron. Robert Williams for $1.99 says, Vlad, you know cameras. What is the next number? 1.4, 2, 2.8, 4. What comes next?
What comes next is you're going to be by yourself at home watching pornos.
My wife's in the other room asleep right now, so.
No, the guy talking with the numbers. In the camera.
Cool. So you don't know, right? That's fine. Cinna Monocontrol for $5. The LIGO arms can be measured with LiDAR elevation data. I've sent you an email. I love your channel. Thank you. I will have a look at that. And then Fire Jemmy for $5 says red blood is 100% a Poe. There's no other alternative. I don't think Vlad's a Poe. I think he's very confused. Hold a Fort for 333 for $2 says.
You guys, though.
If you say so. Did Team Skeptic tell you about the BOFA system? Team, did you tell me about the BOFA system?
The what?
BOFA system?
You never heard of BOFA?
BOFA? Tell me BOFA.
BOFA these nuts!
And the George said for $2, can we get this man a microphone? I'll chip in. He said he was going to buy one, but I guess he forgot. And the last super chat is from Illuminous Poo for $2. Oh, we're listening, Vlad. We're listening to you fail.
You're the failure. You're at home listening. I'm on the show. Come on the show, smart guy.
Why don't you come on the show? You're sitting there playing with Play-Doh, making your breakfast for tomorrow, I guess.
So what? I'm playing with Play-Doh and beat you guys with LIGO. I beat you with the moon shadow, and I'll beat that tower.
Like your dad did.
Vlad, listen, Vlad. There's a simple experiment. There's a simple piece of equipment and a simple. Hold on, listen. I want to tell you. I'm trying to help you out here, okay? There is a simple thing you can do to help to the word I'm looking for is solidify your position, okay? It's super simple. Anybody can do it. All they got to do is go outside in Ligma. That's all you have to do. If you go outside in Ligma, you will actually you will determine the shape of the Earth.
Did you hear that, Vlad?
Yeah, I hear the crickets outside, man. Yeah.
No, but can you not Ligma? But can you not Ligma? Are you physically impossible or physically unable to Ligma?
Well, that's what you like to do. You like to Ligma. You know, I don't mess with that. That's your game.
Yes,
Vlad, you ruined the joke. Shut up. Last super chat.
Have you ever heard? It's the opposite of LIGO. It is the opposite of LIGO, by the way. So
Ligma
that's what I'm saying. You've never heard it.
Yeah,
shut up.
I beat you guys with LIGO and I beat you with the moon shadow. You guys were stunned.
Oh, okay. Last couple of super chats. Alien X Gaming for $5 says your moon video shows a curve. Did you debunk yourself too? I did want to point that out, but Tony was doing so well. Commander Darklight for $22.99 Australian. Vlad thinks he beat you. Bless his cotton socks. Yeah.
Hey, hold on. At what point? Hey, hold on. Time out. At what point do we stop calling them cotton socks and start calling them undead babies with a little bit of cotton mixed in?
He doesn't know what. Look at his face. He's so confused. And then Holdorf333 for $2 says, "Has Vlad heard of the Sundanese army?" He's not paying attention anymore. We're going to close out for tonight. I've had a great time. Thank you, chat, for being here as always. I couldn't do this shit without your support. So thank you so much for being so amazing. If you're not able to support me financially, the best way to help this channel is to share on social media, especially in any group that Nathan Thompson is a member of. Share on Twitter, share whenever your parents come round, just shove the videos in their face. That is the best way to help me grow, is to share my stuff wherever you can. Team, thank you as always for being an amazing sidekick. I couldn't ask for a better Robin to my Batman.
Team helps you grow also sometimes on those words.
And PhD Tony, thank you as always for bringing the big brain that you have along for the awesome ride.
Yeah.
You're muted, Tony.
Me and Tony agreed on the moon.
Sorry, go on, Tony.
I want to point out that I want to shield myself.
Yes, please do.
I'm 51 subscribers, 1,000. So
get in.
So if people could help me out there, I'd be very grateful. Thank you.
Go and subscribe to PhD Tony. He's got some awesome science communication content on his channel. Vlad, thank you for being, dumb as fuck. As always, it's always entertaining, so appreciate that. And guys,
question: do your your cotton socks stand up on their own?
Are they like crusty?
Hey, when you guys have that sleepover, you could do the PvP sword fighting and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And
we've got all that planned. We're gonna live stream the whole thing.
It's gonna be more like a long sword versus one of those little toothpicks you find in a woman's drink,
Anyway, thank you guys for everything. It's been an amazing show, and we will see you soon. Don't forget to come back. When we doing the Trump thing, team? Is that tomorrow on yours?
Yeah, tomorrow. Tony, you're gonna be there, right?
Yes, the Four Horsemen.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. Tomorrow we're going to do an apolitical review of the dumpster fire debate between Trump and Biden. I'm looking forward to that. I have some questions I want to ask the panel though about a particular photo of Trump, because I think some shady shit's going on. But we'll talk about that tomorrow. But do remember, guys, that none of this is political. This is purely apolitical. We are just going to be ripping the shit out of an idiot saying stupid things like normal.
Yeah, no. I think as much as you and I have debated and had like conversations like they had, we have a different perspective on what happened at the debate. I don't want to talk about the politics of the debate. Yeah. I just want to make fun of the shit show that the debate turned into.
You think we have dumpster fires?
It's fun. Yeah.
Anyway,
6:30 p.m. Central Time for the plot hole is asking in the chat.
Looking forward to that. And then on Sunday, Team's going to be debating Gleam on his channel. Plus, there'll be a couple of videos out for me and Team this week as well. You guys have been awesome, and remember, stupidity is not a right. Fight the flat earth. Fight the flat. 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 Fight the flat.
3.